tape, bro. Run the tape, bro. Run the tape, bro. Shut up and run the tape, bro. Run the tape, bro. Run the tape, run the tape, bro. Run the tape, bro. Run the tape, bro.
The tape.
UGA game day, boy, we ball out. Pull up, put the whole conference in the doghouse. Leave them 6 feet, see me on the win streak. All-star status, go coach, and the bench deep.
That right?
Offense on 10, how we run it? Your best ain't nothing, we gon' send them boys punting.
Yep.
Black and red, got them dead on arrival. Defense hunkered down for the tie. Hey, you don't want it with the dogs. Film guy on it, you don't want it with my dog. Break it down, play by play, that's the day-to-day.
Yeah.
They know we ain't come to play, boy, it's UGA.
Right.
Kirby smart, I cannot play the fool.
Like
Back to back, we did not come to lose.
Come on.
Back to back, like we got something to prove.
Come on.
Pay your dues, dog nation on the move. What's up?
We do a little bit different around here.
We ain't come to play, we ain't come to play. Shut up and grind the tape.
The tape. The tape.
We ain't come to play, we ain't come to play. Them dogs in your face.
Let's grind.
We ain't come to play, we ain't come to play. Shut up and grind the tape.
Shut up. Let's grind.
We ain't come to play, we ain't come to play. Them dogs in your face. Shut up and grind.
Let's grind.
Run the tape, bro.
Let's
Run the tape, bro. Run the tape.
The tape. The
Shut
tape.
up and grind.
Let's grind.
Run the tape, bro.
Let's
Run the tape, bro. Run the tape, bro.
Shut up and grind.
Run the tape, bro. Run the tape, bro. Run the tape.
The tape.
Shut up and grind.
Run the tape, bro. Run the tape, bro. Run the tape, bro.
Shut up. The tape.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to MBR, or as we like to call it around here, Nothing But Rants, the show where I find topics that I'm oddly passionate about and I pontificate upon them. These are not hot takes, but rather takes that I'm hot about. What's up? You really like that?
Let's shut up and grind some tape.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome into the Film Guy Network on a fabulous Wednesday evening. I'm back live here inside the studio. The homies took care of last night's show. You guys showed up in droves for that one. We appreciate you for that. No show tomorrow, which means last show, best show. Why do we not have a show tomorrow? Well, tomorrow night we will be in the midst of a 12-and-a-half-hour drive out to Houston, Texas, on the way to College Station by way of Friday afternoon. So no show tomorrow, last show, best show here. But don't worry, we are going to do a road vlog. I don't know how it's going to come out. I don't know what that's going to look like. But the friends of the show over there at Bustin' with the Boys, I think they do a great job when they go on these types of road trips. Now, they fly private. They get a nice, easy logistics there for them. But I think they do a very good job of taking their audience with them on these types of, very cool opportunities. And we got a very, very unique, interesting opportunity for us this weekend out there in College Station. We're going to make a stop at a Division I program prior to going to that. We'll see whether or not they let the people know where we're at. Hopefully they do. I think that will be awesome to show. But you guys will get a full vlog experience from our time out there in Aggie Nation. I'm going to tell you what right now, they have absolutely brought it, has Texas A&M fans. The more and more we talk about the fact that we're going to be out there, the more and more we talk about the fact that we've been credentialed and are excited about going out there to College Station. Dude, guys, I got like 7 emails last night from A&M fans giving me everything from the historical rundown of the school to the hot spots of where we need to go to geolocations of tailgates. Wow. Everything. They have shown up and shown out for this network, and we appreciate that. Super excited about this weekend's opportunity. Also, I got to say this. I didn't listen to last night's show apart from when I was on. I was a little busy watching some damn good football. But I do listen to the people. I listen to our audience, and I listen to stats and data because stats and data do not lie, even though the film sometimes does. 45 minutes of audience retention last night, boys.
Ooh, not bad.
45 minutes of audience retention. For anybody who knows anything about YouTube, the industry standard is about 12 minutes. That's pretty damn good for you guys. Also, the amount of requests for more that I got of just YouTube.
Yeah.
Just give me them too. Just give me more. And that makes me really proud. I'm really proud because Guys, the first 6 months we did this show together, instead of that big whiteboard behind you, there was a white piece of paper that said The Dweebs.
Yeah, that's
because
right.
when we first started this show, people were so used to just getting my fat head and boisterous opinions for an hour, and then we start giving them 2 hours of us three, and they're like, whoa, who is that? Why are they talking on your show? And now it is, when the boss is out, it's like, damn, the boss, give me more of that. So that makes me really, really proud. I hope you guys are really proud of those efforts. Y'all have grown tremendously, as has this network. 90.2 thousand subscribers on our way to 100K.
Getting there.
Yep, getting there ever so closely, ever so slightly. Just boop, 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 just getting up there every single day. We appreciate you guys. Let's go to work on a massive predictions night. As you can see by the title of tonight's show, hit that thumbs up button, fire off in the chat. A lot of options tonight. College football going on right now. Got another bowl game going on later tonight. A lot of options for people to be watching on the internet, on their televisions. The best way to get in front of new people tonight is with your help. Hit that thumbs up button and fire off in that chat. So here's what we got going on tonight, okay? We've got our full previews of this weekend's round one matchups. If you've been with us here all season, you know how this goes. We'll give you the keys. We'll give you the X factors. We'll give you the unless it doesn't happen. We'll give you the predictions, all that good stuff. Score predictions on the first round matchups. But also, because we have the college football playoffs starting Friday evening in Norman, Oklahoma, we have to get our college football playoff predictions brackets done.
Yes,
so we're going to go through that tonight as well. And we're actually going to make it a competitive game. We got points established. We'll explain all of that. Got an opportunity to maybe change some predictions as games are seen, but it's going to cost you some as well. So I think that's going to be really fun tonight. But let's go ahead and start, guys. Let's go ahead and start it out and get it cracking, if you will. Let's start out in Eugene, Oregon, with James Madison and the Oregon Ducks. Just before the show started tonight, the Oregon Ducks a 21.5-point favorite over James Madison at this point. Guys, I looked it up today. Now, James Madison's technically only played one Power 4 opponent all year, and that's Louisville. But let's be a little bit genuine or generous to the folks over there at James Madison. Let's add Wazoo as a Power 4 opponent, right? Just a year or two removed from getting, left out of the ACC, Big Ten pillaging of the Pac-12, and then the Pac-12 disassembly. Still a relatively big, or a relatively Division I laden roster out there at Wazoo. Hell, gave Ole Miss a smoke. You know what I mean? Those two football games, guys, they averaged 291 yards of total offense.
Oh, yikes.
Do you want to take a guess on how many yards of total offense they, at least bare minimum, I shouldn't even ask. Guys, in the other 10 game or 11 games that they played this year, they had at least 400 yards of total offense. So
Big
for
difference.
that reason and that reason alone, the major key in this football game is 100% James Madison's defense, because I pretty much know their offense is going to struggle on Saturday.
Yeah.
I think that's a safe assumption.
For sure. I mean, I saw an interesting tweet. I think it's from Brad Powers, always doing these power rating tweets and all these metrics. And I'm not so deep in the weeds of all that stuff. But what he basically did is he showed the power ratings of previous G5, like New Year's 6 bowl attendees, all those things, and all of them, like TCU, like all of them, back in those days, rated in like the 90s. The two G5 teams in the playoffs this year are in the 70s.
Ew.
Like, not even close to comparable of previous G5 representatives in New Year's 6 Bowl. So there's a big difference in like these teams representing the G5 in the playoff this year and the discrepancy between the teams they're having to go up against. So it's really not even a slight against James Madison or even Tulane when we talk about these games. It's just reality. They're not comparable.
If a James Madison fan's listening to us tonight, I would justify that game if I was a fan and say, we should have beat Louisville. We had 12 penalties for 95 yards and a pick 6. That's no way to win a game on the road against a football team that's better than us from a talent perspective. They had relatively decent offensive performance in that game. It was the penalties, it was the pick 6, and that was it. I think also a lot of people forget Matthew Slucka is the starting quarterback of James Madison. And if you don't remember Matthew Slucka's name, that's the guy that left UNLV last year because he wasn't getting his money, and then went to James Madison, and now they're a playoff team. So it's actually worked out for him, I would argue. But But I think, the keys for JMU is that defense. We know the offense is going to struggle. I think for Oregon, can they flex their muscles and then maybe get some starters out?
Yeah, that's
a key here. I think Oregon is a football team, and not to spoil any of our future bracket predictions, I think Oregon is a football team that is primed for a run, and I think for the first time all year, they're as close to healthy as they possibly could be. They lost a starter in Evan Stewart before the season even started. And that guy's back in pads now at practice. So don't know if he's going to play in this football game. I probably wouldn't play him in this football game. Dakari Moore's been banged up for several weeks. I think this is a football team that is peaking more towards health than anything else. Matthew Slucka on the roster, not the starter, though.
Yeah, not the starter.
He started against Louisville.
Okay.
He's been since removed.
Okay. Makes sense.
But yeah, no, if Oregon shows up and doesn't play with their food in this game, that's going to be the most important factor for this matchup for me. It's going to take a disaster. It's going to take something otherworldly to happen for James Madison to pull off this upset. So I'm not going to even get into the keys to this matchup. It's going to be what can Oregon do to set themselves up in a positive position moving forward from here.
Yeah, you talked about Oregon flexing their muscles. I put it as be as basic as possible. Now I know that this is game 13 for them. There's not a whole lot that you can hide that teams haven't already seen from you because you played a full season of games. But the less you have to show in this matchup and the less you have to play your starters in this matchup, that's the ideal scenario for Oregon in this one. I mean, as a 21-point favorite heading into a playoff game, that should be your goal in this one, is that maybe we don't have to play our starters for the entire game. We can rest them up a little bit even more before we go into the semifinal round. And then for James Madison, I simply put it as make it look respectable. Don't let this be a case that everybody can point to and say, this is why the G5 doesn't need an auto bid. This is why this shouldn't be the case. Don't let it be one of those, although it's kind of looking like it might be one of those.
Very well could be.
They played 2 quarterbacks at James Madison. Slucka's got 42 rushing attempts this year.
Is it Slucka or Sluka?
Apparently it's Sluka.
Sluggo?
Sure.
It's one of my favorite double moves. You a Hugo guy or a Sluggo guy?
Sluggo.
Hugos seem like they don't take as long. Yeah,
but they're not as hard to bite on.
Yeah. Especially against man coverage, you're not getting anybody there.
No.
Okay. X Factor? Crowd noise. I hate to be real obvious, but their biggest away game this year was Louisville. And I look back, I went through the play chart this morning. They only had 1 false start in that football game. But do we all agree that Autson's a little bit different of an animal?
Yes, for sure.
Is that fair?
Yeah,
is that
it's completely
just
fair.
a bit?
I mean,
statement?
the fact that it's just saying it's a playoff game this time, that alone immediately heightens the difference in crowd noise.
What's your X factor?
X factor for me is Mateo Uyunglele, the DN for Oregon. If you can get some havoc plays there, quick turnovers, some bad passes, you can really get up on this team quickly. I think that we all know that either way, Oregon's going to have the talent to win them this football game. That's not a worry for me. How quickly can you get in a position where you can coast is what's the most important in this game, and I think Mateo Uyunglele really puts you in a position to do that.
I have this as an X factor because I'm not 100% sure if he's going to play this weekend. He's been out since October, but he's been a crucial piece of this offense when he is out there. And I think that this might be a good opportunity where you don't play him for 4 quarters, but at least you maybe knock some of the rust off, get him a couple reps. Dakorian Moore, that's a big piece in that wide receiver room that's been banged up for them. You want to talk about getting healthy. That would be a massive piece if they could get back into the lineup if he is healthy. So maybe they elect to sit him out another week since it is James Madison. Maybe they do that. But I think it might be beneficial for him to get some burn in this one if he is healthy and ready to go. And I think he could be a difference maker in this one because you haven't seen him for a while.
Unless it doesn't happen. I want to go last here.
Oh, okay. I have it as James Madison has fewer than 200 yards of offense until the 4th quarter. Oof. And then they just barely scrape over it. Okay. It's like, we finished with 205 today. So you heard it here first unless it doesn't happen.
Give me JMU leading at the end of the 1st quarter. I think that it might take a little bit for Oregon.
7-3.
Yeah, something like that where they have a really long
big
drive.
Explosive.
Where it's like you look up, it's in the second half, you go, ooh, upset alert, Oregon's trailing in this game, but that'll be the only quarter they lead in.
How many of these James Madison players you think end up at UCLA?
That's a great question. I don't know.
It's a big jump across the nation.
I would be moving to LA from James Madison if I
I'm
get
just
offered.
saying. I mean, it's a long way to go.
You got yours? You already gave it. I'm an idiot. Dan Lanning's pregame speech is pretty historic. You know, pretty viral every time they get leaked. When was the last one that got leaked? Pregame, the last one to get leaked is Colorado.
Yeah.
But the clips of them all get leaked by their athletic department on Twitter after the fact.
His is a big, here's what I'm telling the guys between the fourth quarter type speech.
Correct. I think we get a leaked pregame speech, and I'm going to lay the weeds for it right here. You ready?
Oh, yeah, let's hear it.
Dan Lanning, everybody's taking a knee. Dan Lanning walks in with a sledgehammer over his shoulder, and there's a glass slipper on the ground. And he smashes it with the sledgehammer. And he says, Cinderella remains a housemaid in this bitch tonight.
Where would one purchase a glass slipper?
I'm sure they can make one. Probably have an Adidas logo on it.
Well, I was gonna say
Maybe
maybe.
smashing a Nike emblem.
Well, I was gonna say maybe Phil Knight can make one up for you, but never mind.
What do you do with the other glass slipper then?
You think he makes people wear eye protection in the front row? Can't have shards going into a starter's eye.
Yeah,
That's a
definitely
great
don't want
question.
shards of glass potentially harming your players. That's for sure.
That would be unfortunate.
Yeah, it would be. What's your final prediction?
Oregon 34-10.
Ooh, I got Oregon 44-13.
Give me 45-14 in Oregon's favor. 45-13, actually.
By the way, your birthday's tomorrow, right?
No, it's today.
It's today?
Yeah.
I thought it was tomorrow.
No.
Hey, happy birthday, Christian
Thanks,
Kirby.
guys.
That boy, Christian Kirby, give him 3. Did you give yourself 3?
I mean, yeah, that's what we do.
It's his birthday.
If you're giving 3,
You
can
got to
do
clap
whatever
for
you want
yourself.
on your
You got to
birthday.
clap for yourself.
Dude, for some reason, I even told my wife today it was tomorrow.
no, 17th. It's
My
no
bad.
biggie, though. Don't worry
That's
about
on
it.
me. That's on me.
It's all good.
My father-in-law's tomorrow.
Uh,
I thought y'all had the same birthday. Damn. Yeah, 34-10. What'd you get it?
44-13.
45-13.
Boys, y'all think they gonna drum them, huh?
Yeah, I do.
Like that bad?
I do. Yeah.
Has Oregon scored 40 against? Well, this isn't a Power 4 opponent.
No, it is not.
And yes, they have. They hung up 70 on Oklahoma State this year.
Oh yeah, 69.
Oh, even better.
69. I mean, but that's Oklahoma State. All right, let's move on to another just absolute barn burner. Just can't wait for it. Just an absolute dynamite of a matchup in round 1. Tulane at Ole Miss, a rematch.
Can I say that one thing I do hate, and I completely understand the reasoning of the formatting of the playoff and the timings of these, but I do kind of hate that the playoff is basically over at noon on Saturday. I do hate that. I hate how it's – again, I understand because you can't put Oregon in the noon slot because you can't have a 9 a.m. kickoff at Oregon.
We got a 5 a.m. wake-up time, boys.
But
Got the local noon kick.
Could we not have put Ole Miss in the noon slot and then build to the big one? Like, could we not have done that? Like, why couldn't Oregon kick off at noon out there? It'd be the 3:30 game.
I got no answers for you, Jonathan.
I hate that. I just hate that it's going to feel like that the playoff is basically decided at noon after like 3 o'clock on Saturday.
That is tough. I agree with that. But on the bright side, I think if there were a game out of the two where it could get interesting, it's this one. JMU is far more outmatched at Oregon than Tulane is at Ole Miss. Granted, they're both very outmatched, but there's enough that I think Tulane can do to muster up a couple of really, really surprising drives that might make this a fourth quarter game. And that's kind of what the key to this matchup is for me. Can you make enough chaos and hectic plays to where Ole Miss is in a position necessarily where we saw them against Florida where it's like, oh, this is a fourth quarter game or it's close at the half. That's Tulane's key to the matchup for me. And Ole Miss avoiding those and just playing your brand of football.
Mm-hmm.
We just got done rewatching it. We uploaded that or posted that one about an hour and a half before the show started tonight. You know, the Ole Miss Tulane matchup from back in September.
I
It
think
was the
it
third
was
game.
it was early in the
Very
season.
early in the year. Tulane ran the ball at will in that football game.
Sure did.
They ran it for 178 yards. I don't think they took a negative rushing attempt the entire game. The only problem was they were down 20-3 before they could even blink.
Yeah, I think the only negative rush that we watched was on the goal line.
Correct. So the key in this football game is to have a defensive pulse.
Yeah.
Like we got to give the offense a chance to run the ball at will and have a chance to win the football game. For Ole Miss, very simple, and everyone's going to have this one, and they should. Everyone needs to talk about this one. It's one of those cliche, analysis points going into a football game like this, but what does Trinidad Chambliss look like without the answers?
Yeah.
Because if you've watched Ole Miss football this year, literally the last 2 years, since they got helmet comms involved in college football, there is no coordinator talking to their quarterback more and giving more answers, the correct answers, the right answers, more than Lane Kiffin. And I wonder how much of a difference that's going to make in this one, when the quarterback is going to have more answers than he ever has had in a situation like this as the Ole Miss starting quarterback. No offense, Charlie. No offense.
I put this in here for Ole Miss because, I think it plays into multiple factors. I said you got to kind of knock the rust off a little bit if you're Ole Miss, because it has been a little bit since you've played. And on top of that, you don't have, like you were mentioning, you don't have Lane Kiffin in this offense. So, I feel like there's going to be some kinks that you kind of have to work out a little bit, like getting used to having somebody else talking to you before the snap and all of those things. Like, there's going to be certain things that's going to feel different for this offense, and it's going to maybe look a little bit different. So I put it as got to knock the rust off a little bit, and then for Tulane, it's hope and pray the run game gashes him enough.
Obviously, this whole entire football team has had to deal with a shitload of distractions for the last 2 months.
Oh, man.
But I don't think the quarterback's ever felt this much heat.
Yeah.
He's got some – he got asked whether or not you're coming back next year. And it did not sound very good if you're an Ole Miss fan.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in this roster right now.
There are people that are doing y'all didn't let Lane coach. Why are y'all letting this guy play if he's not going to say he's going to be here next year? I'm not saying that the kid has any thought if it impacts his play at all.
Right.
But what if it does?
It could.
It could. I mean, he's a human.
There's a lot of things that have happened that could impact anybody on this roster. There's just a lot going on. It was don't know if our head coach is going to be here. Okay, our head coach isn't going to be here. Don't even know if the rest of our staff is going to be here. Okay, they're coming back and now they're going to coach us. Because Lane Kiffin allowed it to happen because he gave them permission to go back to Oxford and coach for the rest of the year. There's just been a lot of moving parts around this program and a lot of things that could easily distract you to where hopefully that they've been able to lock it in for the last 2 weeks. But, there's been a lot of things that have been happening.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if it plays out. And if we get in a position where Tulane makes this close or Tulane wins, we'll look back and say, oh, of course, look at all these distractions. Look at everything they had to deal with in the lead up to this. So,
there's probably so many kids on that roster that are, just thinking about – like we talked about Trinidad Chambliss. There's tons of players on that roster probably like, I got to figure out what I want to do. I'm thinking about if this is going to be my future or not.
And the entire offensive staff.
Yeah.
The entire offensive staff has 2 phones. Most of them are living out of hotels right now. Okay?
Yeah.
They're flying back and forth to LSU every time they get an opportunity to go back and do their new job. It's chaos. It's absolute chaos. Here's my X factor. And if you've watched that rewatch, you'd have the same one. It's number 73, Elijah Baker, the left guard for Tulane. He was taking dudes for rides for the entire football game. I bet Hezekiah Harris is like, I ain't trying to see Buddy. I ain't trying to see Buddy no more. I think that kid is going to be on a first-class flight to Gainesville, Florida before you could even say Florida Gator.
I put my X factor as Kejuan Lacey because in a game where I feel like we just talked about with this offense and the number of moving parts and maybe things that you aren't sure you're going to be able to rely on in this matchup, Kejuan Lacey has been like a guy that they have been able to rely on continuously throughout the year. Just making positive plays, making
another
plays out of
LSU
nothing.
Tiger.
Potentially. So
potentially.
It's not official. I'm not going to officially say that, that's an LSU Tiger that's going to be suiting up for the Ole Miss Rebels this weekend. But, he has been that guy for them of, if we need a positive play, Kejuan Lacey's going to make it. So I think that he could get them out of some hairy situations this weekend if they really needed to.
If you watched that film rewatch that we did, I think, on Monday or Tuesday, I can't remember which one it was exactly, you would have noticed that very quickly Ole Miss realized that we are not being threatened whatsoever by their passing game, which allowed them to load the box, which allowed them to pretty much stop Tulane's rushing attack. And at that point, they had enough points to where Tulane couldn't really run the ball as is. The X factor in this game is going to be Tulane's wide receiver unit. Can they get enough plays early on to make Ole Miss feel at least uncomfortable with just stacking the box and running man defense? Because if you can do that, you might allow some breathing room in your offensive line to allow some runs, to sustain drives, and keep this game close and steal possessions. If they can't do that, and Ole Miss just goes, yeah, we're just going to man these guys up and load the box, you're not going to win this football game. So that's why they're my X factor.
It's been a minute since I've watched a wide receiver room just get casually locked up for 4 quarters, like casually. It looked very leisurely.
Not
from
just the
Ole
wide
Miss
receiver
defense.
unit. They look like they could have just, laid down on the ground pre-snap and covered the tight ends.
Yeah.
Could have done an up-down and chased them down.
I mean, it looked like walkthroughs at times.
Yeah. The amount of times they were trying to run a tight end on a drag on 3rd and short, and the linebacker's like, you gonna come on? You coming or not? Like, you gonna run? I'm waiting on you. You gonna get here? I mean, it's just the speed difference is noticeable when you look at it from a skill position standpoint. Prediction, I got Ole Miss 31-17. Oh, no, sorry. Unless it doesn't happen.
Yeah,
Unless it
don't
doesn't
jump the
happen.
gun now.
Tulane outrushes Ole Miss by 75 yards and loses by 20 points.
That's very possible.
Tulane doesn't get a single stop on defense until the 3rd quarter. You heard it here first, unless it doesn't happen.
This is going to be a 1-score game by the time the 4th quarter starts. You heard it here first, unless it doesn't happen.
Oh, my.
I'd be happy on the ride home.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
give me something to watch.
I hope this goes down to the wire. I mean, I hope
thing
every
I
single
want
one
to
of these
do
games.
is have a 31-7 game in the middle of the 3rd quarter and got to watch, or in the middle of it's starting the half, and got to go watch more of it.
Last thing I want to be doing is watching these playoff games and saying, well, let's see what's happening in those NFL games, I guess. Like, maybe those are interesting right now.
Ain't going to be no NFL watched in our car.
I got my
on the
own
way home.
screen.
I mean, true. Actually, I might reconfiscate that iPad just for that.
I got phone.
Yeah, you can watch on your small screen. That's fine.
I don't know. These screens are pretty
What
big
do you have
now.
against the NFL, dude? Lord.
I
No
could watch
fun league.
both. I could have both
No
on.
fun league.
We're here about good football.
There's limited bandwidth here for the football brain that I got going on.
I can just hide it from you. You got to watch it. Don't look at my screen.
Stop looking at me, Schwan. Prediction. I've got Ole Miss 31-17.
I like it.
Ole Miss 38-14.
Give me Ole Miss 37-21 on a just dominant 4th quarter, 14 unanswered points. That's how they pull away.
All righty. Let's go to that Friday night foosball game.
Ooh, yeah.
Friday Night Lights out there in Norman, Oklahoma. Alabama on the road to take on the Oklahoma Sooners. Another rematch, the second rematch, or first of 2 rematches in this round 1 college football playoff, matchups that we got going on. OU is favored by 1.5 points in this, guys.
Pick 'em.
I thought, if my memory serves me, Alabama opened as a point and a half favorite.
Yeah, I think so.
Line has since moved. It's a pick'em football game.
I think actually, if I remember correctly, FanDuel had it initially as a pick'em, like straight up, and then it flirted with Alabama. Now it's back over on Oklahoma's side.
Keys, I think for Oklahoma it's pretty simple. Can you avoid catastrophic offensive plays? Look, I don't think negative offensive plays are bad for Oklahoma. I mean, they're bad, but they're not going to be game-ending for you in this football game. If every single drive in the first half ends in a punt, it might be a 7-3 football game at the half. Like, honest to God, it can be like that for y'all because your defense is that damn good. But if y'all start giving the opponent team or opposing offense short fields because John Mateer's throwing picks and we're doing goofy stuff and we're, you know what I mean? We can't have catastrophic mistakes on the offensive side of the football. I almost want you to be boring. I want you to be methodical. I want you to just be like the tortoise, not the hare. You know what I mean? Just be grinded out. Just do what you got to do to protect your defense and not put them at risk. Because I feel like when you put them at risk, that's when they give up points. How many times have we seen teams drive 80 yards on Oklahoma this year?
Oh,
defensively?
very rarely.
Does not happen often.
Ole Miss about the only team to do it
Yeah.
all year. Like it's really hard to do that, guys. So I would make sure we are protecting our defense with punts and whatever. Just no turnovers, no catastrophic plays. All right, and for Alabama, I think my first question is Josh Cuevas going to play? That's a major thing for me because it's not just that he's a really, really good and pivotal player in this offense, the way they use him to block, the way they use him to help with protection, but it's the drop-off from him to the tight end number 2. I used to say this about fantasy with Rob Gronkowski when he was in his prime. Rob Gronkowski should have been player 1-1 in every single fantasy draft because the net difference between him and the second-best tight end was a massive cliff. It was a huge fall-off at that time. Same thing here. Cuevas is so far and away better than the 2 true freshmen that they got playing for them that it's a major problem. So that for me, like, where's Cuevas at? Outside of that, are you broken offensively? Like, what we got going on? And before I go to you, for you guys, for your keys, I want your answers on this one. We've seen second cracks this year. We've seen coordinators get a second chance at DeBoer. We haven't seen a coordinator get a second chance at Venables. So my question to you is, this rematch, who does it favor more? Who has a better chance to perform better in the second matchup? Venables facing that offense or DeBoer and Grubb facing Venables' defense?
I think I'm going to lean defensively here. I think it's because you're talking about how complicated Brent Venables' defense is. It's still going to be complicated. Now, you could certainly maybe figure some things out, maybe some tells that they have from the first time around, but those things could change, whereas like the principles of Alabama's offense and where they're vulnerable, that remains the same. And who's to say that Venables and that defense isn't able to dial it up even better this time around than they did the first time?
Yeah, Jay was absolutely right. The rematch almost always favors the defense in that Alabama hasn't gotten any better at running the football since this game was played. Alabama has not gotten any better at protecting Ty Simpson since this game was played. Ty Simpson may have a better game than he did against the first matchup, but that's not enough for me to say, oh, they have the upper hand in this rematch.
Is there not an avenue where y'all think Ty's just a little bit more comfortable?
Oh, he
So
certainly could be
absolutely
more
could
comfortable.
happen. Absolutely could happen, but that's not going to change the
still
fact
flawed.
that they're a one-dimensional football team on offense.
Yeah, and you had it as avoid the catastrophic plays for Oklahoma. I have that for Alabama because that's what lost you the game last time. It is literally what lost you that game against Oklahoma the first time around. It's the turnovers, it's the special teams plays, it's all of those things. You have to avoid those, and if you don't avoid those this time around on the road, it's probably going to feel like a very similar football game. So Alabama has to avoid the turnovers, and they have to avoid the negative plays because when this offense gets behind schedule, it's hard for them to crawl out of it despite how great Ty Simpson has been on third down at times this year.
Yeah.
On the other side, though, Oklahoma capitalize on the short field opportunities if you get those because your offense hasn't exactly been able to drive 80 yards either this year, and this is a really good Alabama defense that you're going up against. So if you do get an interception from your defense and you get it on the other team's 40-yard line, got to make sure that you're turning those into touchdowns. You got to make sure you're capitalizing on those opportunities because don't know how many opportunities you're going to have on that side of the field.
Yeah, the chaotic plays that change games certainly played in Oklahoma's favor last time around. Can you recreate those? Because that's not exactly something that's a skill. That's not exactly something where, creating turnovers, creating havoc does involve some skill. Getting things to bounce your way as much as they do, that's chaos, and that played in Oklahoma's favor that entire game last time. Will it do so the same for this matchup? I don't know.
By the way, link to our new shirt, Death Blow Offense, in the description of this video if you want to check that one out. You're right. I mean, the amount of time, I think it was – how many pick 6 in the first game for Oklahoma, and the Adebawar forced fumble strips. I know it was the number 44 strip sacked him, right? And then Kendall Daniels falls on the football. They kick a 53-yard field goal, and that was the only points they scored in the second half. That's all they needed.
Yeah, there was a 20-point swing in that game based on turnovers or just poor field position or missed opportunities by Alabama. So,
all right, let's get into our X factor. For me, anytime I talk about Oklahoma, I have to talk about Kendall Daniels, 6'5", 242 pounds, plays hybrid nickel linebacker, is a real problem for most offenses because of his size, his length, his versatility, and just the fact that most 6'5", 242-pounders aren't hanging out outside the box or playing versions of nickel defensive backs, and it's a real problem. He creates real hesitancy at the quarterback position too because anytime you look anywhere near his zone window, it looks like an avatar over there. So even though there might be space, the space looks like it's going to get closed and you end up turning it down. So Kendall Daniels is the guy that I enjoy watching every time I turn on Oklahoma defensive tape, and he is the X factor in this football game for that reason.
I'm gonna go with this player because I feel like he's been a guy that they move all over the field offensively, and he's kind of bailed them out in some situations where they aren't able to run the ball. And it's Jeremy Bernard. That has been the best wide receiver for Alabama this year, the most consistent wide receiver. They put him in the backfield. They do a lot of different things with him, and he's kind of bailed them out in these moments where, hey, we can't run the ball, but maybe an end around with Jeremy Bernard, that might help us out a little bit, and it's turned into some explosive plays. He's going to have to be a huge factor in this offense for them this weekend if they're going to top the Sooners.
It feels like a cop-out answer to say this, but Ty Simpson is my X factor because the Ty Simpson that we saw in that 4-game stretch where deep outs, throws over the middle, competing in tight windows, he just looked like the perfect quarterback. He has not exactly looked like that, and he didn't look like that in the Oklahoma game. If you can look like that like you did against Tennessee, against Georgia, against Missouri, against Vanderbilt, you're going to see a massive, massive increase in the output that this offense has. If not, you might get more of the same. So Ty Simpson is my X factor.
Who gets more help around him in this football game? Alabama's offensive core around Ty Simpson or John Mateer's offensive core around him?
I'm going to go Alabama's
Yeah, I'd say
offensive core
Ty
on
Simpson. His weapons are better. His more options to lean on, I would say.
The offense also
Got a
doesn't.
tougher matchup though.
Yeah,
does.
But the offense doesn't flow through Ty Simpson. It does, but it's like, hey, if John Mateer's not going to do anything for us, we're not going to have an offense.
Yeah, one guy's a facilitator, the other guy's a playmaker.
Correct.
Has to be.
Correct.
One guy is, hey, we have to make 10 correct decisions in a row or else we're not going to score. The other guy is, hey, can you score for us right quick?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly where I describe it.
Yeah. Should be interesting. Unless it doesn't happen. You ready for this one?
Let's hear it.
I've got less than 550 yards of total offense in this football game. You heard it here first, unless it doesn't happen.
Not a single touchdown is scored in the first half. Heard it here first, unless it doesn't happen.
That's a fun one.
I mean, this might as well be Iowa State.
No, dude. It's the SEC.
It feels like that. The defenses feel like that.
Oh, defenses, yes.
It's another thing. Like, people will talk about Oklahoma's defense in this. Is Alabama's defense the most underrated unit in the playoff?
It's not talked about enough because people are way too focused on Alabama's offense.
Offensive problems, yeah.
Yeah. They're way too focused on that and not what they're doing on defense.
Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button. What do you got for me on unless it doesn't happen?
We had an interception in this game go for a pick six, turned it on its head in Oklahoma's favor, ultimately ended up kind of being the reason you won. Give me Alabama returning the favor this Friday. They get a pick six of their own against John Mateer. You heard it here first unless it doesn't happen.
Very likely to happen. Very likely with how John Mateer plays.
You already gave yours?
Yep, I did.
All right, let's move on. Oh, predictions. I got Oklahoma 17-13.
Ooh.
Yeah, I've said all week I have no idea how I was going to pick this game.
Let's go 16-13.
Oh, even less touchdowns.
Yep.
In fact, by the time I arrived at the studio tonight, I still didn't have a firm answer on who I thought was going to win this game. But ultimately, I've landed on this. Oklahoma 20, Alabama 17.
Rematches always favor the defensive plays, I feel like. And Oklahoma's defense certainly has all of the tools to stop Alabama's offense, and I fully expect them to struggle on Friday. Here's what I keep getting hung up, though. Chaos plays and things that happen like that aren't exactly a skill set thing. A strip on a punt return that gives you a short field, a pick six, a missed field goal, stuff like that isn't necessarily a skill set. Oklahoma got lucky in this game a lot and won by 3 points. Not to take away from that matchup that they had, but the fact that Vegas favors Alabama right now and there's a lot of, luck that necessarily happened in the last game, I'm going to pick Alabama to win 27-21.
The pick six Alabama gave up against South Carolina, that's bad luck. Running back drops the ball, bounces up in the air, South Carolina corner picks it off, takes it back to the house.
It was the other way around.
Oh, you're right. Sorry. That type of pick six is bad luck.
Correct.
I feel like Oklahoma earned their pick six.
They earned it.
They jumped the shit out of that slant.
How many pick sixes would you expect in a football game, though?
Oh, no, you can't go into a game banking on a defensive score.
Exactly. And that's why I'm kind of like, the things that helped you out last game probably aren't going to be there, or at the very least, you can't expect them to be there for you. I'm going to ride with Alabama on this one.
What do you got? You
I already gave mine.
I don't know why I keep doing that. Miami at A&M. 11 a.m. local kick. Beautiful. We're going to be up bright and early on Saturday morning out there in Aggieland. Texas A&M, the 3.5-point favorite. I think the key in this football game for both teams is to keep quarterbacks from multiple turnover games. All right. Now, I would argue that Texas A&M has been able to bounce back from turnovers at the quarterback position at a much higher rate than Miami has. I feel like Carson's turnovers have cost them games. Now, the only reason that is because Marcel has made most of his mistakes in the first half and then played relatively clean in the second half. I mean, that South Carolina game is an exact epitome of what I just explained. I think he had 3 interceptions in the first half, damn near 7 turnover-worthy throws, and then the second half, they play really, really clean. They come back in that football game, defense stack stops. So they play a lot of complimentary football, and they help their quarterback out a lot if he does make mistakes. I don't feel that way about Miami right about now. A&M's key, I think, for me is, can we get 85% of Le'Veon Moss? Le'Veon Moss is questionable going into this football game, which, by the way, if he were 110%, his ass would be listed as questionable if I'm that football coach.
Yeah.
So just going to let you know that one right now. He is so much – the other guys are decent. They're good. He is so much better than them. They are a much better rushing football team when he is at the running back position from a north and south standpoint. They still have a bunch of extension of the run game without him. They still have the quarterback run without him. They can still stretch, tackle, and beyond without him. But they don't got none of this without number 8. He's got to get back in this football game and be a version of himself. And for Miami, guys, this is staggering to me. This got brought to my attention while being on TexAgs a couple weeks ago. Can Miami be the 5th? I repeat, the 5th football team this year to rush for more than 200 yards against this A&M defense. Let me read off some teams that have rushed for 200-plus yards against A&M's defense this year. UTSA, week 1, got him for 2 Bills. Arkansas, got him for 2 Bills. Missouri, okay, Ahmad Hardy's pretty good, got him for 2 Bills. Texas, arguably one of the worst rushing football teams in the conference this year.
Yeah.
Got him for 2 Bills in a rivalry game. Can Miami go do it? I'm curious. I'm curious to see. By the way, Missouri wasn't running the quarterback in the football game.
Nope.
Arkansas does, But I say that because Miami doesn't. You know what I mean? Miami's we going to run the ball with the running back offense. They don't have a quarterback threat with his legs. So should be interesting.
Yeah, I'm going to steal one of your things that you talked about in the film study for one of my keys to the matchup. Educated risks, the right risks. I talked about that a lot with Marcel Reed, but I also would apply that with Carson Beck as well, a guy that has turned the ball over a little bit, but so has Marcel Reed. So when you do take these risks, let's make an educated risk. Let's not put it in harm's way too many times in this football game, because if you're turning the ball over a lot, obviously it's not going to favor you too much. And then also – just for both teams, because with Le'Veon Moss questionable and kind of how Miami's offense has operated a little bit this year, just whichever team can establish a run the best in this one, whoever can rely on that one more times than not, that's the team that I think is going to win this game.
My factors for both of these teams is which of you can create an environment that your quarterback is going to thrive in. Because we've seen both teams have quarterbacks that can make really impressive plays, really good throws, can really advance this offense. But there's also certain aspects of it to where if this offense does not get clicking on all cylinders, there will be turnovers in this game. There will be sputtering on the offensive side of the football for both teams. So can Texas A&M create an environment where Marcel Reed does not feel like he has to do everything on his own, does not feel like he has to make plays with his legs, is not, bailing out and trying to not look down the field as much? Same for Carson Beck. Can he play on time? Can he feel like he doesn't have to force throws in tight windows? Because we've seen both of these teams and both of these players turn the ball over if they do so. So who can create the better environment?
You know what the X factor is? Texas A&M's defense against trick plays.
Ooh.
All right.
Have you watched all the different shit Miami does this year?
I've seen a few of them, yeah.
I mean, Malachi Toney's got touchdown passes. Francis Moaga, the right tackle's got a touchdown reception. They do all kinds of stuff. They did the Purdue play where we run inside zone, the quarterback runs to the flat, the running back throws him a bubble. They do all kinds of funky stuff that you have to be prepared for. They go tackle over randomly at times. They do all kinds of shit. And it's not one of these football teams that just, we're going to be pro style, line up and play ball. No, they're going to throw a bunch of stuff at you. So you're going to have to be ready for all of that. And I would imagine, they haven't been pressed in the last month, have they, Miami? Since they lost to SMU, they've been thumping folks.
It's been one of my biggest talking
points
about Miami.
They've been thumping folks. So they probably got some arrows left in the quiver. You know what I mean? They got bullets left in the chamber in this one with regards to trick plays. Got to be locked in if you're the defense from A&M.
For sure.
Simple X factor, because if you look in a dictionary, his picture's right there. Malachi Toney.
Attaboy.
He's the definition of an X factor. That's how they use him. I mean, you talk about how many different ways they utilize him in the offense. If Miami wins, it's going to be because Malachi Toney was making special plays like he always does.
It is the biggest. When we were going through the selection process and the college football playoff selection process, I thought the most commonly repeated phrase was Notre Dame has improved since that first matchup. Notre Dame has improved. And I agree. Notre Dame was playing great football before they took their ball and went home. They're playing great ball. By the way, I step out of the studio for 2 hours and you guys lambaste the Irish.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I've been telling people, hey, how'd you get Shane Gillis on friend of the show? Ain't going to be a friend of the show moving forward if we keep it at it.
Shane Gillis does not like me anyways. It's not like we're losing much here.
You're right.
He thinks I'm the devil.
Yeah, that's my bad too. I don't even know what my train of thought was. Where was I at?
How Notre Dame has improved this year.
This Miami football team has drastically improved since that first one. And it's not even like as a totality, like as a whole, it's really just Toney. Like the usage and how they use Malachi Toney has drastically improved since week 1 when they played Notre Dame. Mm-hmm. So that's a major difference maker in this football game, not just because he's an elite talent, but they have added on in terms of how we beat teams with 10. Mm-hmm. And they've added on and added on and added on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my X factor for this is Ruben Bain.
Yeah.
Outside of Malachi Toney, who I agree is the best player on the field when Miami's offense is on the field, I think Ruben Bain's the best player on the field when Miami's defense is on the field. So.
Anyone more motivated?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Ruben Bain got trash talked by Kuhn, the left tackle from A&M. And I don't know if y'all noticed this, but the anti-Ruben Bain deep state is out. Some NFL draft guru was like, sources say Ruben Bain sub 30-inch arms, and then said list of Pro Bowlers with 30-inch arms or less.
Why do there always have to be somebody? Why does somebody always have to be that guy? Why do?
Yeah, how's Will Campbell playing, by the way?
Phenomenally. Phenomenally.
It's interesting. God. So, yeah, that was cool. Cool. Unless it doesn't happen. You ready for this one? Mm-hmm. 5 total turnovers and 60 total points in this football game.
Dude,
Boys, I think we're going to have like a 14-13 halftime score, and then the second half is just going to be absolute chaos. Defense is wetting down their legs.
Man, seeing that game in person would be so much fun.
I mean, don't you want to root for it?
Hey, we're going to that game, but if you're not and you would like to go, head on over to our friends at SeatGeek to see what tickets are looking like. They have over 70,000 events listed on their site, not just sporting events, not just football games, concerts, festivals, you name it, they have it. And they're on your side with this. They're offering you a deal rating system to where green dots mean it's a good deal, the value for this price as well. Red dots means probably want to stay away from it, might be a little overpriced. Every ticket is backed by their buyer guarantee. And, of course, we've got a promo code for you so that you get some incentive here. If you use FilmGuy10 at checkout, you'll get 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. That's 10% off any tickets when you use the promo code FilmGuy10. Thank you to our friends over at SeatGeek.
So here's the deal. I'm looking at it right now. You can sit top row, section 421, row 11, inside Kyle Field for $218.
Not bad for a primetime playoff game.
10% off of Film Guy 10.
I say primetime, it's at noon.
That's a $190 ticket.
Yes, it is.
And you can go watch the first and only college football playoff game in the history of Kyle Field.
That's right.
Not bad right there. Not bad right there at all. All right, let's get into it. Predictions. It's going to hurt my heart. I want to go last. I want to go last and very quiet. Hope they don't see it.
Okay. Texas A&M 27, Miami 20.
Yeah, you got to go with home field advantage here, and especially against a team that has not played on the road that much. Give me Texas A&M 33, Miami 24.
Miami 28, A&M 27.
Oh.
I worry about the line of scrimmage.
Yeah,
I think it's the only. Like I said this earlier. I think A&M has a significant advantage at the skill positions on both sides of the football, but I think Miami's got an advantage on the line of scrimmage.
That is a big difference maker for sure. But
If Texas A&M loses this game, it will be because of that.
It's the hardest game in the first round for me to pick.
Yeah, definitely.
easier than
It's a rock fight. That's a coin flip. I'm okay with being wrong. I think I might be wrong by 2 scores here, one way or the other. It could be. This could be a 38-28 game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't see that one going that way in Norman. That game's going to be 17-13 one way or the other, and I'm going to feel okay.
You're right.
know?
And the thing that I'm trusting is home field advantage for Kyle Field here.
I'm with
the
it.
fact that this Miami team has, I'm not going to say never, has not played an environment like this all season in a college football playoff game.
No.
Like, I understand Carson Beck is a grizzled vet. I understand that, this team has been through a lot already. This is a different environment. This is a whole different
100%
animal.
prepared to be wrong. 100% don't feel good about it.
Yeah.
100% know I'm going to get flamed by, again, I started the show saying, my God, what a fan base that has ingratiated themselves to this channel more than arguably anybody other than Georgia. I mean, they have been fanatics of this place, and I'm sorry. That sucks. I hope I'm wrong, honestly.
Hey, it's not our job to pander, though.
No, it's not. It's
We
not our
give
job
analysis.
to pander, even though pandering sometimes does work for the benefit of the channel, even though we don't allow it around here. All right, let's get on to our college football playoff bracket, shall we?
Let's do
We
it.
got the PowerPoints ready? PowerPoint.
Oh, you want to go over there now?
Yeah, we'll go over there now. What else are we going to do?
Well, I thought you usually were going to do I'm going to get up and walk to the board, then we'll switch the cameras, but we can also do that.
Whew, yeah, let's do it. All right, so here we go. We got our college football playoff brackets. Now, we've already filled in our first round predictions, right? I picked Ole Miss over Tulane. I picked Miami over A&M. I picked OU over Alabama. And I picked Oregon over JMU. Now, let's go on to the next round. Where did you start here, Curb?
Top left. It goes
All right.
left.
Top left.
Top
What's up?
left.
Oh, okay.
Top left?
Oklahoma and Indiana.
Okay. Give me Indiana. Give me the Hoosiers. One-dimensional offense. I think Indiana's defense is really, really good. I cannot imagine how much they are going to confuse John Mateer. I think we might have multiple turnovers in that one from the Mateer man. All right, we're over here now?
Yep.
Give me Oregon. I already told you I think Oregon's going on a deep run. 2 really, really expensive rosters. That's going to be the first time all year Texas Tech has played any team relative to their talent pool. Going to be very interesting to see what happens there. But I got Oregon in a close one. Let's go over here. Give me Ohio State over the Miami Hurricanes. I still feel like Ohio State is probably one of the 3 best teams in this conference or in this bracket. It really does concern me, though, how Julian Sayin looked against Indiana in that football game. He looked very confused. He looked very rattled. He looked like he hadn't seen anything like that because he hadn't seen anything like that. Let's go down to the bottom. I got Georgia steamrolling Ole Miss in that one in the Sugar Bowl. Back over to the left side.
Yep.
Give me Oregon over Indiana. Look, it's a rematch of the first one. I don't know why. I don't know why I feel this way about Oregon, but one of these coaches is going to break that. He can't win. Okay, it's either going to be Mario Cristobal, it's going to be Dan Lanning. Somebody is going to break this. Oh, he can't win playoff games. He can't win big games. Give me Dan Lanning to do that. I got Georgia over Ohio State there in the Fiesta, and call the boy a homer. Dogs on top.
Oh, wow.
Dogs on top.
Homer Brooks.
Homer Brooks.
Bama Brooks picking the Dogs. What do you know?
Bama Brooks picking the Sooners. What are you talking about?
I know.
Send them packing.
All right. I believe it's my turn. Yes, it is indeed my turn for me to reveal my bracket. So, again, you guys already know first-round selections have already been made over there on that glorious PowerPoint made by Christian Kirby. Thank you for doing that.
Good work. Good work.
Thank you, guys.
All right, so in the Oklahoma-Indiana game, I also have the Indiana Hoosiers winning that one. I just can't trust Oklahoma's offense to continue winning playoff games and tight games, especially here in a semifinal matchup against Indiana, who has a really good offense. Fernando Mendoza, the Heisman winner for a reason, and that defense, despite the injuries that they have suffered and despite the fact that they're not going to have their best defensive playmaker for the rest of the playoffs, it looks like. I still think that they're going to be able to do enough against that Oklahoma offense. I have Oregon toppling over Texas Tech. Again, I said that there's probably going to be one of these teams where we kind of find out, maybe we're seated a little too high, maybe didn't belong, maybe better than, or maybe worse than what we thought. I think Texas Tech might be one of those teams. I just don't think that they've been tested enough to be going to a playoff like this and outmatch a team like Oregon. I have the Ohio State Buckeyes. Oh, Georgia over Ole Miss. Surprise there. Yeah, Georgia in a rematch over Ole Miss. You guys know the deal. Kirby Smart and his defense in rematches, they play a lot better. That defense is a whole lot better than they were the first time around they played Ole Miss. I think Georgia's going to do their job in the Sugar Bowl against them. I have Ohio State beating Texas A&M. I think that Ohio State's defense would give Marcel Reed too many problems and too many issues for the Aggies to be very consistent on offense. I think that their defense would have a great showing against the Aggies in the semifinal round. I have Indiana beating Oregon, despite that one being a rematch, and despite me picking Georgia also to win another rematch. I also have Indiana winning another rematch against the Oregon Ducks in this one. I don't know, just for some reason I feel like Indiana would get them again because they did it on the road the first time. I think in a neutral site matchup, I think Indiana would get them again. So then I have the Indiana Hoosiers, of all teams, making the national title game. I also have the Georgia Bulldogs making the national title game.
Homer J. Will.
You know, I've said that I think Ohio State matches up better than anybody against this Georgia team just because they're kind of built similarly on the line of scrimmage. Like, if anybody could try and contain that running game in this college football playoff field, I think it would be Ohio State. But Georgia has just shown time and time again that they can run the ball just about against anybody, and they will continue to do it. And Gunnar Stockton in big-time moments, he's been great for the Dogs. So I have them. And then I have Georgia ultimately defeating the Indiana Hoosiers for a national title, the third one under Kirby Smart and his time in Athens.
Solid bracket, Jay. Well, I think that, we've had a little bit of continuity. So
We're going to go through yours and explain point systems after that.
Okay, sounds good.
So go ahead, Kirk.
All right, first team on my bracket, I picked, obviously, Alabama to beat Oklahoma in a close matchup. Just feeling like they did just enough last time, got lucky, Oklahoma did. So I went with Alabama on this one, fully expecting to be wrong there. But I do have Indiana winning that game ultimately. Like we said, Indiana's defense has just been that much more buttoned up, and their offense has more of a pulse than Oklahoma's does. So that's why I went with them. Next, we have Oregon versus Texas Tech. I think that Oregon has the advantage in this game, so I went with them. Although Texas Tech does have strong enough defensive line play that's going to give them problems. It'll be a close game, but I have the Ducks pulling it out late. Texas A&M versus Ohio State. Give me the Buckeyes. I think that they, again, have one of the most solid rosters in college football. Texas A&M looks really good, has played well in certain moments, but overall it has not been as impressive as Ohio State. I'm going to go with Ohio State winning this game. And then, obviously, that brings us to the rematch between Georgia and Ole Miss. I think it's all fair of us to say that Georgia probably wins that game. Kirby Smart in rematches has been phenomenal on defense. Ole Miss has a lot more going on than they did when these two teams played earlier. I like Georgia in this matchup, which brings us to Indiana versus Oregon. I have the Oregon Ducks winning this game. I think that Dan Lanning has lost one too many rematches, had the thing against Washington in 2023. I think they are tired of losing. I think that Indiana loss at home stung enough that it's going to be something that they have put a lot of emphasis on. And by the way, they're going to have time to prepare for it with this James Madison thing in Texas Tech. You have to imagine they're going to be a little bit well rested up. Obviously, Indiana will be too with that bye week, which brings us to Georgia versus Ohio State in what will be the Fiesta Bowl, I believe.
Correct.
Yeah, it's out there in Arizona.
Yeah, again, this will be another one of these instant classic coin toss type matchups. But the fact that Georgia is playing its best football now and Ohio State is coming off what you could argue was its worst performance of the season, certainly was offensively, I'm going to favor the Dogs in this just because, which sets us up with another rematch between Dan Lanning and Kirby Smart in the national championship, which is where everyone would assume we go chalk here, and all across the board everyone picks Georgia. But you know what? For the sake of a jinx and for the sake of continuity, give me Dan Lanning winning his first national championship with the Oregon Ducks, shocking Kirby Smart, beating the mentor, and redeeming his 2022 ass-kicking.
Couple of notes here. We're all doubting the Red Raiders, huh?
Yes.
But I think that's more of we think Oregon's in a position to go deep.
Mm-hmm.
I think more so that than what we got going on with Texas Tech and whatnot. All right, explain the point system, Kirby.
All right, so I think we agreed on the point system going through of these four. We have a total of, I believe, I can't remember how many games we have. The first round of matchups, if you guess the matchup correctly, you will get 5 points. For example, if Alabama beats Oklahoma, I get 5 points for that. Yep. As we go into the quarterfinals, if Indiana beats Alabama, I get 10 points. Then for Oregon versus Indiana, I get 25 points just because to pick the final four teams is that much of a deal. Getting the national champion right is a 50-point bonus for you. So that's, a lot of incentive there to do that. But you can do things. Because obviously your bracket gets busted if you have a team that's making a deep run, loses. You can change a selection in your bracket for the cost of 20 points. So say if you have, 15 points based on the teams you got right, but the one team you got wrong is making a deep run in the playoff, you can switch that out. You'll be down to -5 points. We will tally up everything at the end of the season and see who wins the competition.
I hate to bring you this news on your birthday, but apparently your dad is about to disown you. He's
Yeah.
not very happy with your prediction.
Sorry, Dad.
I got a futon. Oh, wait, it's not like
You live at home anyway.
I live at home anyways.
One of your gifts just got taken from under the tree.
No, not my gifts.
Don't say you could take your pops again because we're going to get a post-game phone call.
Yeah,
Pops
I
talking
won't,
shit.
I won't make that mistake again. Don't worry.
I don't think I could take my pops.
I've already said I can't.
I think Pop's got one good one left in him. I ain't trying to find out.
Dad's strength is real, dude.
I mean, I have dad strength now, right? When does that happen?
I think it's immediately.
It's immediately, but you don't get it.
Huh.
You don't get it against your dad. It's only for your kids.
Oh.
That's what dad's strength is. It's not like it's I'm a dad now. I'm strong.
So your own dad is always your kryptonite.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Unless you're a never mind.
It doesn't happen that
That's an inappropriate joke for
with
current
big brothers.
times.
I'm trying to save you. It doesn't happen that way with big brothers. You tap your big brother out one time, he ain't gonna give it to you no more.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna see him no more.
Big brothers and
Especially
cousins.
if you do it in front of one of his best friends. You get your older brother in a rear naked choke and tap him out in front of one of his best friends, he ain't gonna ever step again. Not that I, have experience at all in that one. I want to read something to you guys. This comes from Reese Davis's college football podcast on ESPN. And this is about the Sharon Moore situation. And I just found this right as the national hour is about to end. And I want to read it to everybody because I think it's good general advice, especially for you men watching today. I'm going to offer one public service announcement here, particularly to the men who become intoxicated with their positions and power, Davis said on the College Game Day podcast. Some men become mesmerized by the attention or affection of someone romantically. If you are married, just go home. Just go home. My great friend Rod Gilmore and I have talked about this for almost 30 years now since we started working together in my days at ESPN. We always say all these guys, when the temptation comes out, have the discipline. Just go home, man. You made a commitment. You talk about commitment all freaking day. Just go home. And also, you can read the excerpt from Nick Saban's book about who you might choose to have liaisons with and all that, which is a pretty funny thing. If you haven't read Nick Saban's book, here's what he said. Ultimately, you never want to sleep around with anybody who has less to lose than you do. So ultimately, if I'm ever going to sleep around on Miss Terry, it's going to be with Hillary effing Rodden Clinton. So, yeah, just go home. My mom used to say this all the time. Nothing good happens after midnight. Mm-hmm. Take your ass home. Take your butt home. And guess what? You might have $22 million in your bank account in 3 years. I don't know, because you might be able to save your job that you were handed on third base, too. I teased something today on Twitter. I don't do this a lot. I'm gonna give a tease intel on this one. Let me read you the tweet. Let me get to it. Says, quote, I know of a massive quarterback name expected to enter the transfer portal. No, I'm not telling you. Yes, this is rage bait. Here's the hint. SEC football program, and they won't just lose one. Let's go to the local hour.
My God, it's the Arkansas Razorbacks.
Welcome into Talk the Dog, the show where we find a bone to pick and a take to give. These are not hot takes. These is dog takes. Can I talk that dog? What's up? You really like that? Let's shut up and grind some tape.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back in to the Film Guy Network for what is shaping up to be a loaded local hour. Last hour, best hour. We're going to fire it off right now. We got a great one for you. I got a transfer portal primer. I'm very, very confused about something. So we're going to talk about that. Trayvon Walker giving good premonitions, like real fuzzy premonitions. State title reactions. Kirby's going to call a shot, and we got an injury report. But before we do that, let's super chub.
Yeah.
Let's talk to some of these super chubs right here. Robert Franklin with a $100 super chub says, for the camera replacement. We appreciate that.
What a good man.
By the way, camera one will get replaced in the offseason. Ain't nobody got time for that shit right now. Ain't nobody got no time to be dealing with Canon replacement products right about now. So we're going to deal with that in the offseason. Sorry. Hey, boys. This comes from Jay Carte, 29. Hey, boys. We have to fix these first-round playoff games. Zero buzz. Last year's were all duds, and this year's is 2 rematches and lackluster games, in my opinion. How do we fix it? No more charity cases.
Amen.
It's not even that. Like, you're not – if getting excited for the matchups and having good games is the catalyst for a successful playoff, you're never going to get a system that's correct.
I disagree. We might not have close games every time, but going into BYU Oregon, I think it looks a whole hell of a lot better than BYU JMU.
Yep.
That's
Sure
fair.
does.
I think we have a whole lot more hype about it.
That is fair.
I think Miami versus or not Miami. Who's the other one?
Ole Miss versus
Ole
Notre
Miss
Dame.
versus Notre Dame. Oh my God, way more intoxicating than a rematch between Ole Miss and Tulane. ESPN, ABC owns the rights to the playoffs. They get the top 2 games, and they want, and the other 2 TNT gets. It's all about the networks. 100%. He's talking about the time slots.
Yeah.
That comment came in during the time slot discussion. Jay Carte whipped out the credit card tonight. Bama, Oklahoma offenses combined for 0 touchdowns, 9-6 final, unless it doesn't happen. We love that. Jonathan Deagle says, Heartline out the door mean anything? Yeah, it means a lot because they're apparently the leading candidate is Cortez Hankton, which we're going to talk about tonight. Rodney Carey says, so when can we have the conversation of Kirby Smart falling off since he hasn't won a natty since 2022? Seems like a great time to pull a Pat Kraft / Penn State. Felt like rage bait and UGA homers a kid tonight. God bless Roll Tide.
You son of a bitch. You dare say anything about Kirby Smart?
Attaboy, give him his $20 worth of
Yeah, there
rage.
you go, dude.
Give his $20 worth of rage right quick. I'm terrified of Michigan.
Oh,
Hey, that block M carries a lot of weight, so says Michigan grads.
he's listening. He's listening, apparently. He's hearing him out.
Who dat?
You know what? I got on the flight tracker today. There was a plane from Athens to Ann Arbor.
Oh, no.
Just kidding. That didn't actually happen, by the way.
I think Kenny Dillingham's just praying they offer him the job and then he's going to go. That quote he gave about, hey, coach, do you love Arizona State? You going to stay here? And he was like, hey, first of all, I don't care about none of y'all. My first priority is my family and the people that are in my corner. So I ain't worried about none of that. All I'm worried about is me and mine. That was really weird. Did you hear that one?
No.
I mean, Pete Thamel was on the College Game Day podcast talking like, that guy needs to go. He needs to leave Arizona State.
I mean, yeah, when your quarterback's hitting the portal like that.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. He's
the
like, this
whole
guy
reason.
developed Sam Levitt into an NFL draft prospect, and now he's about to lose
That
him.
would never happen in Michigan. That's a true fact right there. All right. Thanks for the Super Chubs. We love those. Let's get into this transfer portal primer because, I don't know, was it a month ago? We spent 40 minutes doing this. Mm-hmm. A month ago, we went through every position on the roster, name by name, and this guy might be going to the draft. This guy's going to graduate. This guy, this, that, and the other. This guy's not ready to play. We went through it bar for bar, line for line. And look, I have football brain. I don't have the retention of, I don't know, what's an animal that's got bad retention? A mouse. Okay, I got bad mental retention. I know you guys as an audience do too, because I got folks in my Patreon audience over on Discord, patreon.com/Brooks Austin, thousands of dog fans in there, and I'm getting tagged left and right of, hey, what we got going on in the portal? Who we going to go after? Are we interested in this guy? Are we interested in that guy? Like, guys, a month ago, we went through the whole thing. So we're going to do it again. Real nice, brief, and concise right here at the top. And there's new additional intel on maybe potential positions of need. So let's do it. First and foremost, when it comes to this time of the year, we start talking about portal additions and talking about, is this guy a fit? Will Georgia get involved here? Yada, yada, yada. Whatever the questions you guys throw at people like myself and these two guys. You got to understand there's bullet points. There's like boxes you have to check, and they all line up historically with the additions Kirby Smart and this staff have made via the portal. First and foremost, a former state of Georgia or 5-hour radius recruit that went elsewhere. A prime example of this is Josh McCray. Josh McCray was not recruited by Kirby Smart in the University of Georgia coming out of high school. He goes to Illinois, puts up, 800 yards last year. He's from Enterprise, Alabama. He came home coming back to Georgia. That's a prime example of, hey, who's from around this area that went elsewhere that maybe we missed on, maybe we didn't recruit very well. You know who else would have been a Georgia potential target? Rashad Bateman. Remember him from Minnesota? That's a Georgia high school football player that goes up and damn near wins a Biletnikoff. By year 2, buddy, he'd have been pre-portaled. Not to say anybody does a pre-portaling thing, but they had probably pre-portaled that one. You know what I mean? So that's a prime example of a situation like that. Another one of these quote-unquote boxes of football players that you have to look out for. Former prospects that they recruited really, really hard out of high school, but they missed out on. All right? This goes including position coaches of prior stops, right? Think about Zachariah Branch. The reason Zachariah Branch is at the University of Georgia is because James Coley recruited the hell out of him at Texas A&M, barely missed him to USC, takes the wide receivers coaching job at Georgia. A year later, Zachariah Branch hits the portal. I want to go play for Coley. I remember being recruited really, really well by that guy. We built a very good relationship. Now I'm a Georgia Bulldog. Those guys fit the mold as well. Now, a player that absolutely whipped your ass. Any player that has absolutely done you up might get a look and might get, if he hits the portal, might get a call. A prime example of this is London Humphreys. Mm-hmm. London Humphreys scorches Tyke Smith to start the football game against Vandy, and it's like, hey, that guy's got 3 years left of eligibility. Dog, let's come on, bring him down here. And then the final box, best player attainable. All right, now, in the scouting world, everybody talks about BPA, best player available. I'm going to take BPA. All right, we get a third round of the draft. We've got all of our holes filled. What do? We take best player available. It's not like that in college football anymore. If you're talking about best player available, you're doing it wrong. What you need to be talking about in this situation is best player that is attainable. BPA, best player attainable. Who can we actually go purchase? Who can we actually afford without busting our budget at this point in the season? I think Elo Mendoza fits this category, right? Of a player that we thought, hey, maybe he doesn't fit any of these other molds, but he is the best player that is attainable for us at this position. Let's go throw a stab at it. Adrian Maddox fits this limelight. Trey McKitty, back in the day from Florida State, I feel like fits this mold as well. So that makes sense. Those are my 4 boxes, right? Chat's already talking about a name, Jaden Baugh. Jaden Baugh fits like 3 of those 4. He has beat your ass. He is from the state of Georgia. You recruited him heavily out of high school. Breaking news, Georgia's going to be involved with Jaden Baugh, okay? I'm just going to let you know he fits too many of these boxes to think that they are not going to try to get into that one. Now, let's talk about what actual positions we expect them to go into the portal and maybe address, right? Number 1, and do not freak out, backup quarterback. Now, why would they be in the transfer portal for a backup quarterback, Christian Kirby?
It's the age-old rule.
I mean, they need 4 bodies at scholarship, and you just lost one for next year because Jared Curtis is no longer in your commitment. Guys,
4 Scully body rule. That's what we call that at the quarterback position at the University of Georgia. Got to have 4 scholarship football players. Right now, going into next year, it's Gunner, it's Puglisi, it's Montgomery, and then they got Melander and Colton Ginn hanging out, which I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know if those are technically one of those 4 scholarship bodies.
Right.
You know what I mean? I know Colton's a walk-on. I don't know what else they got going on there. So don't worry. I'm not saying that somebody's in the portal if I say they're in the portal looking for a backup quarterback. Also, finding somebody that wants to come sit on the bench in the portal, really, really hard to do.
Yeah.
So I don't even know if they addressed this issue. I already talked about it. I think they are one circle pin target at the running back position, and it's Jaden Baugh. All right? They will entertain that. They will do whatever they need to do to an extent. They won't leverage themselves out of this world because of what they have already in the room. But if you have the opportunity to add Jaden Baugh, you do so. All right? And I don't think Nate Fraser or Chauncey Bowens is going to bark at you if you do so. They seem like Georgia guys. All right? They seem like they are about this. They are about going out and winning championships or doing whatever they need to do that. Maybe a few wide receivers is what I was told today. They will be heavily in the market there.
Understandable.
Best defensive front player attainable. Okay, they will be in the hunt there. Whether it's a D tackle, whether it's an edge rusher, whether it's a defensive end, best defensive front player available. Now, they still have to figure out what players like Raylan Wilson are going to do. Raylan is obviously a third-year football player. If we had to give Raylan a grade right now, third or fourth round, maybe fifth if he has a bad combine, something like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Does he go? If he does, you're probably going to be in the portal for an inside linebacker body, because I think you need 5 playables.
Right.
And if Raylan leaves next year, I don't know if you have 5 playables. That being said, Zayden Walker has made me change the last 3 games of Zayden Walker have made me change my mindset on this. Mm-hmm. I think they would be fine next year if it was Justin Williams, Chris Cole, Zayden Walker, and
I mean, you have AJ Crua still on the roster.
AJ Crua. I think Anthony or AJ? Both.
I think it's both.
I think they got 4 playables there. They'd be fine, but for insurance purposes, maybe they take another one if Raylan doesn't come back next year. So there's that. And of course, a couple of safeties. They're going to take a couple of safeties.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that speaking to linebacker room, it seems like if Raylan does declare, it seems like Tavion Wallace fits that mold that you're talking about of all the check boxes of that's a guy that's from the state of Georgia, would be a homecoming for him. I mean, he didn't play a whole lot for Arkansas, but he played in the SEC. Didn't play against Georgia, but he checks off some of those boxes.
Chat's asking about Sammy. I'm assuming Sammy Brown. Sammy Brown's not going to hit the portal, is he?
I haven't heard any inclinations that he's
Max
going
committed to Clemson too?
I think so.
They're going to. Dad played at Furman. They're Clemson people. I think they're going to stay at Clemson. So there's that. Obviously, guys, look, there's going to be a lot of names, right? And here's the other thing about Georgia. I compared Georgia's scouting department to the way Belichick ran New England's scouting department during free agency time period, okay? I'll never forget Chris Sims talking about it on a podcast several years ago. Sims spent 12 months with Belichick as an intern scout. When he got done playing ball, she's like, I'm going to go see what they got going on. I'm going to help them out. And he said the depth with which they went through potential free agents was at further ad nauseum than any place he had ever been. There is no stone left unturned. I feel this way about Georgia. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's a single player at the Power 4 level or that is moving up to the Power 4 level that Georgia hasn't looked into. Like Khalil Barnes, for example. That kid's from North Oconee High School. That kid spent the last, 3 months before he committed going back and forth from North Oconee to Athens trying to figure out whether or not they were going to take him. He's played really well at Clemson in 2 years. It's probably a kid they're going to be calling.
Yeah.
Or at least contacting his agent prior to January 2nd.
Yeah, there's always some players that enter the portal or things like that, and that it just looks like, that looks like a guy that's going to end up at Georgia. And Barnes certainly seems like one of those players of, you seem like a guy that's going to end up at Georgia. Like, it seems destined to happen. Not saying it's a guarantee, but it feels like one of, that one feels like a Georgia guy.
Yeah, and I think that you touched on something earlier that I wanted to mention, that it is hard to kind of pinpoint what exactly it is you need and want in certain positions because you don't know who's leaving and who's staying. And does that make it that much harder to be enticing to prospects of, hey, come play inside linebacker for us? Well, coach, I don't know if I want to be here because you might still have your starting guy. Does that hinder it in any way, in your opinion?
What, one more time?
Does having players that might or may not still be on the roster because you are playing games right now, does that hinder getting players from the transfer portal?
Are you talking about from the draft perspective?
Yeah.
I think that because of the calendar, those conversations better have already been had.
Well, I mean, Kirby said after the SEC championship game, he said, first thing we're going to do is talk to all of our players.
Yeah.
That's what they're talking about, I would imagine, is future plans, what this looks like, what are you thinking, what do you want to do, here's your grade, all those things. I'm sure all of those conversations have already had.
Not enough likes on the stream. I'll tell you that right now. Not enough likes on the stream. It'll be interesting to see who all actually enters.
Yeah, I mean.
Basically, if you're not in a playoff, you've already texted the on-3 people and let them know your intentions, right?
Majority of them, I would imagine, yeah.
Yeah. Did you hear Eli Drinkwitz's comments yesterday? Basically said, college football's sick right now.
Yeah, it needs help.
It needs help.
was saying that there is no tampering doesn't exist because there's nobody that's ever been caught for tampering. Like there is no there's no idea of tampering. It's just what it is. He said there's not a player on his roster that hasn't received a phone call about leaving that place. Also, by the way, like he is a byproduct of this. One of his football players getting sued for $331,000 of give me my money back.
Yep.
So he doing it too, and I don't think he talked about that, but he's not. I mean, he's not gonna.
Right.
So it is a very gross time in terms of player acquisition strategies and what's going on with player movement. I think the other thing, and it's not media guys' fault, it's just the byproduct of the business. The idea that the portal doesn't open until January 2nd, but every time someone announces that they're hitting the portal, there's a quote tweet from a media person saying, so-and-so is rep by such and such, which is just saying, hey, coaches that follow me, you're not allowed to call the player yet, but you can go ahead and start your bidding process over here with the agent. That's weird to me, but it is reality. Like it's not, again, not the media guy's fault. It's just they're doing their job at an extremely high rate. And it's just where we're at in the sport right now, and it feels really, really weird.
Speaking of doing the job at an extremely high rate, how about we give a shout-out to our friends over at Sleeper who have just been doing a bang-up job for us all season long. If you don't know what Sleeper is by now, it is a fantasy sports and real money gaming app that is focused on bringing you lovely people together through sports and gaming. It has become one of the fastest organically growing platforms in the world with over 6 million active users in 2023, and it has earned some of the highest levels of engagement per the industry. At Sleeper, it is not just about sports, it's about building personal connections. If you head over there today and use promo code Brooks, you will get a 100% deposit match up to $100 on your first deposit. That means if you put $1 in, you get $1 for free. You put $100 in, get $100 for free. See terms and conditions, those still apply. Sleeper is also operational in over 25 United States, including the great state of Georgia. Check out Sleeper today and use promo code Brooks.
Trying to get my screen sharing app.
It's up there.
It's working? Okay, it was giving me something that's saying it wasn't. All right, let's go over to Sleeper right now. Guys, we did a group play a couple weeks ago during the SEC Championship game. I want to do something similar for this Oklahoma and Alabama football game because I think this would be a good opportunity to play a bunch of unders and get in on a winning ticket. We were so close on our last group play. Hey, will you put that information up on the group? You already did. You already did. No, the community slip right there. Where's the email address for those guys to get in on the action? Jonathan, put that up on the board as well. So if you screenshot your slip as we make this together, guys, and send it to the email address on screen, you should have an opportunity, or you will have an opportunity to be selected for a free $100 over there as well. All right, let's start playing this, guys. Isaiah Satanga, 67.5 yards receiving. That's kind of an explosive waiting to happen kind of play right there. That's an interesting one. John Mateer passing touchdowns 1.5. I think we should take the under there.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
I'm fine with that.
All right, let's take the under on that one. Jeremy Bernard, 58.5 receiving yards. Guys, they moved it pretty well the first time. 406 yards total offense.
I'll take the over on that.
Yeah, I'd be fine with the over.
All right, let's play the over on Jeremy Bernard. All right, we've played John Mateer and Bernard, so that means we can't play Ty Simpson and we can't play Oklahoma wide receivers moving forward, okay? Isaiah Horton, 29.5 yards.
I don't know if I touched that one.
I wouldn't
Not
either.
touching it.
Let's stay away. Deion Burks. How about Jam Miller, 39.5 yards rushing?
No, dude.
No, not
Back
at all.
from an injury.
Back from an injury against an Oklahoma offense on a
And they had negative 3 yards rushing.
Yeah, consider
on
the
that
track
one.
All
record.
right, let's go less there. All right. Can we play an anytime tud?
Surely you can.
Yeah, I'm saying should we, though?
Give me Isaiah Satanga.
You think Isaiah Satanga anytime tud?
Yes.
But that's going to – we took him for an under receiving – or no, we didn't touch his receiving yards, did we? You got Satanga anytime? Bernard anytime?
Bernard or Ryan Williams if we're going to Alabama.
I'd rather take Bernard's receiving yards than an anytime touchdown from him.
Maybe we should stay away from anytime touchdowns anyways because we don't think there's going to be a lot of points.
Yeah, fair.
All right, so let's go to rushing yards and play an under here. Ty Simpson, 2.5 yards. Xavier Robinson. 36.5 yards.
Low key, the Ty Simpson rushing yards one is a little enticing.
That's 1 10-yard run and 4 sacks.
Yeah.
Shoot, 1 sack for 15
Yeah.
yards or something like that.
Let's do it. Let's take the under there.
Yeah.
All right, let's view our entry. This is our play. It's a 4-way play, okay? 10 will get you 68 over there. All right, let's go ahead and lock it in. We got Jan Miller under 39.5 yards. Ty Simpson under 2.5 yards rushing. Jeremy Bernard over 58.5 yards receiving. And John Mateer under 1.5 yards or 1.5 passing touchdowns. Again, if you get in over there, use that slip. Send proof of the slip over there to hmasleeperpicks@gmail.com. You will be randomly selected for an opportunity to win a free $100. And as always, get 100% first-time deposit match up to $100 over there with our friends at Sleeper. All right, boys, I am terribly confused by something.
What are you confused
What's
by?
that?
And look, this is going to sound like I'm hating. And if this guy listens to the show, I apologize. But there's a lot of people, especially the bigger and bigger this network gets, there's a lot of people that think we just carry weight for football coaches. This is going to be one of them segments where you're like, damn, there are football coaches that he don't necessarily love. And this is nothing personal. Everything with Hugh is personal. I don't like that guy. I don't like the way he operates. I don't like the way he handles his business. I don't like the way he throws players under the bus. This ain't got nothing to do with the person that is Cortez Hankton, but the performance that is Cortez Hankton's last 2 stops. And the idea that he is up for the running and the rumored leader in the clubhouse for the Ohio State wide receiver coaching job is insane to me for a lot of reasons. Let's talk about it. My opinions on this, by the way, differ completely from the actual football world. The football minds that make decisions love this guy. I think he is a testament of relationships and likability. If you are good with relationships and you are good with likability, you might just have a long-term career in a field like coaching football. But here we go. LSU takes him from Georgia, all right, and now he's rumored to be the replacement for Hartline at Ohio State. Let's just talk about Georgia's room during Hankton's run as wide receivers coach from 2019 to 2021. For some reason, the internet thinks he signed George Pickens. He did not. That was James Coley's recruit, as was Dominic Blaylock. So, stop with that one. Please don't bring that one up on social media. You are confused. You are reading 24/7 Sports page incorrectly. The other thing, Arian Smith told me verbatim in an interview that you can still find on SI that Todd Monken was his primary recruiter, that Todd Monken spent more time with Arian Smith than anybody on Georgia's staff, on top of the fact that it was just a bunch of Deshaun Jackson conversations. I think you'll be Deshaun. Look what I did with Deshaun in Tampa. Look at Deshaun's record with me. You could be this. All right, Ladd McConkey gets attributed to Cortez Hankton. Don't understand it. If you knew anything about the recruitment process, you would know that the changing deciding factor was the fact that Kirby Smart was seen at a basketball game in February at North Murray. Cortez Hankton wasn't at that basketball game. Kirby Smart was. So, I don't understand what's going on. Look, Burton, good football player. Rojak, good football player. Justin Robinson didn't work out. A.D. Mitchell, just as much to do with the scouting and development department as it did the wide receiver coach who signed him, in my opinion. Jackson Meeks worked out great at Syracuse, didn't do much during his time at Georgia. This viewpoint of Cortez Hankton's time at Georgia is very, very weird to me. It's been very, very misconstrued, in my opinion, throughout the process. Even when he was taken away to LSU, LSU fans thought, oh my God, we stole somebody from Georgia. Look how great this guy is. He's from the state of Louisiana. He's going to ball out. Guys, by the time he left LSU, they were basically calling Liberty up every offseason going, hey, you got any more of them wide receivers I could try out down here? They're supposed to be wide receiver U, and they're taking transfers from Liberty. Anybody? Now he's up for the Ohio State job. This is very confusing to me. I don't understand this one.
Yeah, I mean, I can remember during the times or the days of Cortez Hankton being the wide receiver coach, a continuous conversation that we had during the offseason is, well, we got to kind of figure out and see what this wide receiver room is going to look like because we're not exactly sure. And typically the recruiting classes weren't Georgia would be recruiting, and this is even the times where like NIL wasn't like openly talked about all that much. Like it was around and it was starting to be talked about, but not as open as it was now. Georgia was landing 5-stars and 4-star high caliber top 100 players at every other position. And then you look at the wide receiver room, and it wasn't that. It wasn't the Georgia standard. And that was one position that was typically like, well, they made some things happen, and maybe that guy will be a good developmental piece, but it was never like headliners.
This is the best way I could put it. In 2025, James Coley signed the best wide receiver recruiting class at Georgia since 2019, which was the last time he was in charge of it.
Right. And it certainly is kind of like, I wonder why Ohio State wants to go from Brian Hartline to this guy who
should be noted, just an interview.
Yeah, that's
just an interview, but it's like the internet ran with it as if this is like done.
Yeah.
He's the favorite to land this job. And Ohio State fans that I saw seemed happy about it. It's weird to me. I don't get it.
Yeah, and I mean, look, anybody you hire after Brian Hartline is going to be a bit of a downgrade. So, and I'm sure, like, now it's probably, and I'm sure, like, maybe Ohio State fans probably believe that, well, it doesn't matter who we really hire because we'll just recruit them ourselves. Like, the fact that we're Ohio State and we have the lineage of wide receivers, the development and the players that we've gotten here, it'll recruit itself. But who you have doing that certainly matters as well.
I was at a national championship yesterday.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
In December.
I was at a national championship in the middle of December yesterday. It was a high school state title, but it was deemed a national championship because that was the number 1 ranked team on Max Preps in the form of Carrollton versus the number 4 team on Max Preps in the form of Buford, and Buford gets the win 28-20. It really felt like the Big Ten championship to me from style of play standpoint. Defenses were so great in that football game for 4 quarters. It got to a point about midway through the second quarter, I walked over to a friend of the show, Andy Villamarzo, Rivals guy, also known as Tempest Works on an iPad.
Ah, yes.
Him. I walked over to him and I whispered to him, I said, this game's going to be won on 5 explosive plays. And he said, huh? I said, he got baptized by the ball knower. I said, this game will be won by 5 explosive plays. The team that gets 3 of them will win by a score. And he looked at me, he's like, huh. And guess what happened? Carrollton had a trick play, big time, punched it in right before the half, big score. Zyke Helton, strip sack, a strip 6, if you will, back to the goal or to the end zone, touchdown. Those were the 2 big plays for Carrollton. Buford had 3. Buford had 2 big runs from Tyree Green and 1 big bomb from Dayton Raiola. That was the game. And it was a great game.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about the important stuff. Go ahead.
Talk
about them dogs, Jonathan. Talk about them dogs.
They were the show of the biggest game in all of high school football. I mean, you said it was a national title game, and it was the dogs ended up dominating. Now, there was 3 of them in total that were on the field, Ryan Mosley, Zyke Helton, and Tyreek Green. But Tyreek Green and Zyke Helton, I mean, if you were here with us on our recruiting day mega show, and we talked to and you watched that tape of Zyke Helton, that's exactly what it was in that game, in the state championship game.
3 sacks. He was completely unblockable.
I think Jeff Sentell had the best tweet of the entire game of, I'm sure Georgia fans are a little confused watching 2 of their commits play the positions they're not going to play in college more than likely because Zyke Helton's just wreaking havoc on the defensive line even though he's an offensive line commit, and Tyree Green, a safety commit, just doing them up. I mean, he had the game-winning touchdown. I think it was 80-yard run there late in the fourth quarter to give Buford the game-winning touchdown. Like,
I got into an argument.
Ball players.
I got into an argument last night with a trainer who trains pros, lots of pros, and he texts me. He goes, "Zyke better be playing defense." And then the next text message after the 80-yard touchdown run was, "Tyree Green better be playing offense." And I'm like, I had to explain to him that this is what Georgia does. Mm-hmm. Georgia gets roll the ball out, I'm going to dominate football players from this state. They might get the blue chippers from out of state who maybe are specialized in one thing. But most of the time, they're going to recruit, roll the ball out, I'm the most dominant football player because it's high school football, and in 2 days, I'm going to be at bowl game practices at the University of Georgia. So that's what these guys are. They are now, they aren't the blue chip status. They will be, by the way. That's the other thing that pisses me off. These guys aren't going to be technically able to be my guys anymore. They're going to get skyrocketed.
No. If we cement them as my guys before the rankings come out.
I agree. I
That's
agree.
buying
If
the
it gets to signing day and Tyreek Green is the 2,000th ranked football player and Zyke Helton's outside the top 250, that's on you.
Yeah.
That's on you.
We
I
bought
get
the
to make
stock
him a my
early.
guy. So there's that. But, like, Malachi was a 5-star football player. Mm-hmm. But Malachi can play anything. Mm-hmm. KJ Bolden's a 5-star football player. KJ Bolden started at Buford as a wide receiver as a freshman. Like, he has always been this, right? All their football players are this. Quintavious Johnson was a quarterback and an outside linebacker in high school. He is a great football player. That's all that matters. Are you a great football player? Yeah. Are you a height, weight, speed guy? Are you big enough, fast enough, strong enough to play for us? But are you a football player? That's what they did in this class. That's what we talked about over and over and over again on National Signing Day. Just how good the floor, how high the floor of this football team and football signing class was. And I thought that was on display last night. I mean, could you imagine the joy of being Kirby Smart, watching a national championship game, and it is so obvious that the two best players on the field are your commits that everybody thought, those aren't very highly rated football players. Okay.
Yep. By the way, didn't mean to excuse Graham Houston out of that list of Georgia players.
Or Ryan Mosley.
I said Ryan Mosley.
Oh, yeah. No, Graham Houston's in that joint.
I think watching last night's, because I went back and watched a little bit of highlights and caught like the back end of the last few drives.
Oh, you weren't up till 1:30 watching high school football?
No, I was watching it. I watched it in the gym, but I didn't get the
My
first
God,
half.
dude. That game kicks off at 9:30, and I'm like, all because of an OT flag football game? Get there. Not to be sexist, but can y'all play somewhere else? Sorry.
Whoa.
Kirby, we had the most important, arguably the most important high school football game in the history of state of Georgia that started at damn near 10 o'clock last night because we had a double overtime flag football game?
Yeah.
Nonsense. I know what you're doing right now, and I appreciate it for not getting us all canceled, but I appreciate that.
Whoa, I didn't say nothing.
This
Of
is
course
a-
you did. You sat on your hands
This
over
is
there and didn't pick a
whoa.
spot.
This
No,
is
'cause
whoa. This isn't
Homie
me.
picked up the ball.
This isn't me doing the let me cover our tracks. No, like those girls played throughout the season. The goal is to play in the bends when you get there. Like that's fine. Saying like, you don't deserve there because I gotta watch.
Look, if it was a bunch of dudes playing flag football, I'd say the same thing.
I get it.
It's flag football.
Yeah, but still,
Take it to the parking lot.
let the people have their moment, dude.
Yeah, I think you're making a great point about Georgia's recruiting class because, and I tweeted this out as well of, I think a lot of people are like, man, this is a down year recruiting class for Kirby Smart and Georgia this year. A top 10 class, but it's not littered with multiple 5-stars like it usually is and like all these top-ranked players or anything like that. But after watching all those tapes that we did on recruiting on signing day and just watching these players continue to play games and show out on the biggest stages of this class is filled with nothing but dogs on the football field. Like Tyreek Jemison is another example of this. Of that dude is just a dog on the football field, like at all times. And so I think that's what this class is like these dudes are just pure football players who love the game, and that's exactly what you want right now in this era of football.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Just like it was very apparent in watching that Georgia has emphasized more so than ever in their recruiting classes. We're going to get players that love playing the game of football, even if it means that the ones that are otherworldly or the once-in-a-lifetime talents don't come on our team. We don't care because we will turn them into that because the ones that want to be great at football and love this sport that much have a higher ceiling than even the most talented.
Chat's asking about, I think his name's Cam Ward, the sawed-off running back from Carrollton. Chat thinks he's 5'8". He ain't. He about 5'7".
Oh.
Maybe. But he is about 200 pounds.
Good Lord.
Dude, that sumbitch got veins on his arm that look like a horse's leg. I mean, they are big. And what happened to his recruitment process, I talked to a 6A head football coach that played that dude in JV last year. He's going to Liberty. I think he did good for himself.
Yeah.
I think he did really good for himself for a 5'6" running back with, going to Liberty's pretty daggum good. Mm-hmm. I think we're all right. I think he did pretty daggum good.
Yeah, absolutely.
But no, watching my guys slap dominate in the state championship game, that felt pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Zyke Helton was a my guy too.
Yeah, he was.
In
That's
fact,
what I'm saying. Two of my guys. Two
In
of the
fact,
five.
I think we had to convince you to put Zyke on.
There was a one where
There was no convincing. There was a debate between he and my tight end.
Oh, yeah.
Why are we all three missing his name right now?
Are we talking about Lincoln Keys?
It wasn't Braden. It was Braden Vogel, wasn't it?
No, I don't think so.
Lincoln Keys. But he's like a 256 guy.
Yeah.
It was like too close. It was too easy to take Lincoln. So we went with Zaki.
Understandable.
But what a fun story that kid's been throughout his high school career. I know we've told it before, but it needs to be talked about again. When I first saw that kid he was an 8th grader in spring ball at Carrollton, and it's been so long ago he's since changed Twitter accounts. But I'll have to find it after the show. I tweeted it out. Name to know, freak show for the future. Zyke Helton, Carrollton offensive lineman, at the time as a true freshman, he was already 6'1", 305 pounds. Okay? Starting as a center, starting as a defensive tackle for Carrollton as a true freshman. He then has some type of gastrointestinal disease or issue.
I think it's Crohn's, isn't it?
Maybe.
I think that's what I saw someone in Discord say was his Crohn's
So
disease.
Crohn's, he gets all the way down to like 225.
Wow.
Loses a bunch of weight, can't really eat for like a good 12 months during his high school career. And ever since then has just constantly put the weight on. And I think what happened to him, Jonathan, is when he lost all that weight, he just got tremendously more athletic. And now that's what we see. Right now we see a 295-pound athlete that moves like he's 240.
Yeah.
And it's scary for that football player. I think there is a realistic chance, more so with him, that he actually gets to play defense or has an opportunity to try to play defense. I don't think Kirby Smart will allow a safety who he wanted to take since he was a sophomore in high school to play running back.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It looked great. It was awesome. But I think when Kirby Smart watches Tyree Green run for 80 yards against Carrollton, he's like, okay, he's fast enough to turn and run.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that's his first thought, not, well, let's put him in the backfield and see if we can get him totes.
And safety's a bigger position of need next season than
Correct.
running back is. You're expecting to get Nate Frazier back. You're expecting to get Chauncey Bowens back. You're expecting to have a handful of other guys on that roster that will be talented enough. Tyree Green will play safety at the University of Georgia.
I think Tyree Green is going to be a football player that plays a lot of snaps for Georgia.
Good.
There's something about well-rounded football players who are always in the right spot, who are just no nonsense. They're pros. He attacks the game like a pro. If Tyree Green were 6'1", 210, he would be a 5-star. I believe that. But instead, he's 5'11", 190, and I don't think people can figure him out. But he's a ball player.
Mm-hmm.
He's a ball player.
Sure is.
And me love ball players.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Absolutely.
we love ball players around here. Roll the ball out, I'm kicking your ass. Trayvon Walker, premonitions?
Yeah, Georgia fans will certainly love to hear this from a member of the 2021 national title winning team, drawing comparisons from that team to this year's team, specifically the defense. So he had some interesting quotes, was just kind of asked about Georgia's season, if this is what he expected out of them. And so this was the first quote he gave of, it was expected, and I knew that they would get into the playoff. I feel like these guys are really playing well together, and they have really grown together. I believe the current guys have benefited from the foundation that we laid. Talking about the defense that he played a part in, obviously littered with first-round draft picks and draft guys in general. But he continued on that, and he highlighted the linebacker room, and he said this: I see a lot of similarities with guys like C.J. Allen and Chris Cole to guys I played with like Nakobe Dean and with Jordan Davis and Nakobe Dean. The defense seems to be coming together at the right time. When you saw what these guys did last year, it really reminded me of our year, or you saw what these guys did this year. It really reminded me of our year, said Walker. We felt we came together in the middle of the season and realized what we could do. We finally started to realize our potential, not to take anything away from our offense that year, but we feel like we helped win a lot of games a year. And he's very right. That defense was a big reason why they won a lot of games that year. But I think what he's really getting at is, you kind of saw Georgia turn a page really at the bye week from Florida on throughout the year, like specifically the defense of there were some issues or there were some concerns in the secondary with how they were playing against the pass, and they didn't feel like that the defense was playing to their full potential. And I think that has a lot to do with what we've discussed ad nauseum on this show of how young these guys are. And they're only going to continue to get better as they play more snaps. And now the defense has really picked it up. I mean, over their last 3 games, they've only allowed 1 touchdown, I think it is. One time offense has gotten into the end zone. So you've just seen things really start to click, and you're seeing Georgia peak at the right time like he's talking about. And I think that really means a lot in the expanded playoffs. So hearing a 2021 team member talk about this kind of reminds me of how we felt and what we were shaping up to be during that season when we were classified as one of the greatest teams to ever do it.
Yeah, and a couple weeks ago when we talked about it, like just pointing out the statistical similarities that this year's unit has had in the last 4 or 5 games compared to that 2021 unit. Obviously, things did not start off looking like 2021 because you had some rough patches with Tennessee and Ole Miss, but the way this defense is playing right now is absolutely reminiscent of what they were doing 4 or 5 years ago. So it's a very good sign for Georgia fans, especially that players that were on that team kind of look and see, okay, I can see the similarities in what we did when we were there.
I think we've been talking about on this network that they are far more talented than most people realize.
Oh, absolutely.
There are far more first-round draft picks on this roster than anyone is willing to acknowledge because they can't. You're not supposed to project and foresight those types of things or foresee those types of things. But like I said, man, the ice bath and ibuprofen, I came in after week 1 and was like, guys, the tape looks different. The speed, the relentless pursuit to the football, the casualties at contact. Oh, my God. Like the amount of just mass and ferocity that they pursue the football with. The fire, passion, and energy. It's all there. I mean, it was so clear to me from weeks 1 through now that all they had to do was improve. The execution and effort was always there. All they had to do was get more comfortable and better at the positions that they were really, really young at, and that's exactly what they've done, particularly at the cornerback position. Before we let you call your shot, Kirby, let's talk about the injury report.
Yeah.
So if you've ever listened to this show, you know that we're not big news reporters. We don't break news on injuries. I find, me personally, this is my experience. I can't speak for other outlets. I can't speak for other journalists. I can't speak for other content creators with sources. I can't. I speak for myself. The number one way for me to get a source to stop talking to me is to ask them about their player's health. Number one way. Number one way for that coach, that inside source, that staff member, whatever, for them to look at me and go, bro, hell no, get off my phone. So I don't even try. I think I've broken one news injury report in my career. That was Dominic Blaylock tearing his ACL. And that is because a member of his camp called me and told me he specifically wanted me to do it. That's it. I don't do it. I don't do this stuff. So there was reports today. Who reported it? Gabe Harris, turf toe.
I think there's multiple outlets that were
Yeah,
starting
this
to
has been
create
like
the
48
news.
hours of reports.
Okay.
Of, here's what we're hearing. Here's the details of it. So
Here's what I know about turf toe. You can give it as much rest as you want. It's going to flame right back up until we give it like 6 months of rest.
right.
Agree or disagree on football?
Yeah.
Like with regards to turf toe. So, yeah, I'm sure over the next, however many days it was off, was it 28 days, 24 days between the SEC championship game and the Sugar Bowl, I'm sure he's given it lots of rest. If this was something that happened in season, maybe this is something that happened in the last several practices, I don't know. I don't even know if there's been any intel on that when it happened.
Yeah.
But turf toe is not something that just gets better over 20 days. It's about two things, really: severity of the turf toe, whether or not the ligament's completely detached or damaged, and, for lack of a better term, pain tolerance.
Right.
Like whether or not you can actually go through this. I also think the difference between having a turf toe as an offensive lineman versus having it as a defensive lineman is totally different. Offensive linemen play in their insteps. Okay, if this is my foot, my heel to my toe, I play on my insteps. Okay, right there on basically that. I don't want to take my foot off. That ball on the inside of your front foot, that's what we play on. We don't drive off our toes. We're never supposed to play on our toes as an offensive lineman. As a defensive lineman, we're playing on our toes from stance to finish. So it's totally different. That drive is totally different. So it'll be interesting, man. I'll tell you this, though. That kid's originally from Thomas County. That kid finished his high school football career at Valdosta. Again, for lack of a better term, ain't no bitch.
Yeah.
So I'm sure I'm not going to say he's going to be fine, but he should be okay. He should be playing,
Yeah. I mean, it's something to keep an eye on. It's something to kind of watch out for because he was playing some damn good football. But at the same point, if he's injured, you're going to have to do next man up here.
Absolutely. And the next man up would be Joseph Jonah Jr.
who has been playing better as the season has progressed. One of those younger guys that as he's gotten more reps throughout the year, you started to see him flash around the field a little bit.
Mm-hmm. All right, Kirby. The floor is yours.
All
Call
right.
your shot.
Every year we do this where we come in and sit down in front of these microphones and talk about this one topic and ask ourselves, is this going to be the year? Is there any chance a Georgia wide receiver breaks the 1,000-yard mark this season? And throughout those years of all those talkings, we have provided updates on pass catchers, how they're doing, to discuss the illustrious record of 1,000 receiving yards in a single season. But we're talking about the wrong record when it comes to pass catchers at Georgia. And believe it or not, one of the longest standing receiving records is about to get broken. You heard it here first. I'm calling it. As we sit 13 games into the 2025 college football season, Zachariah Branch has currently hauled in 73 receptions for the Georgia Bulldogs, which puts him just 3 catches away from tying Georgia's single-season record and 4 from breaking it altogether. The record was set during the 1993 season by Bryce Hunter 10 years before Terrence Edwards tallied 1,000 yards. If you're unsure that Branch is going to break this record in the Sugar Bowl, he's currently on a 9-game streak of 4 receptions or more, just to let you know. I know that everyone wants to talk about the glass ceiling of 1,000 yards getting shattered, but the fact that Zachariah Branch is a practical shoe-in to break a record that has lasted more than 30 years at Georgia football needs to be talked about more. And by the way, he's only like 260 yards from 1,000 yards this season. So,
if he's listening right now, I've got something for him.
Oh.
Now, I don't think we can't sell these because of name, image, and likeness, but ADH Dame, a listener on the show that has built all these 3D prints that you see hanging around the studio, go ahead and squeeze camera 2 right here on my phone. Look at this. Zachariah, if you're listening right now, this needs to be in your house.
That's cold.
that is very cool.
That needs to be in your house. Uh-oh. Let's make sure that wasn't a source text. That'd be the day. But yeah, dude, that would look absolutely sick. I think you're right. I mean, the receptions record we never talk about. We always talk about that 1,000-yarders, which for good reason, you know. Mm-hmm. I think in the time that you haven't had a 1,000-yard receiver, Alabama has had 7.
Yeah,
something like that.
You know,
but that's
the time that you haven't had a first-round draft pick at the wide receiver position, and this is all Georgia's fault, to be honest with you. George should have been a first-round draft pick if he doesn't throw a Georgia Tech DB into the brick wall and get suspended.
Well, and if he doesn't tear his ACL.
That, too. Totally forgot about that.
Yeah, I mean, the entire season,
yeah, totally forgot about that.
The throwing into the brick wall happened as a freshman.
So bad luck on Georgia's part, not Georgia's fault. Would have been a first-round draft pick. But,
correct.
I mean, you got to go all the way back to A.J. Green, guys.
Yep.
It's been a long time.
Now, I would also say, though, if that some teams could redo it and redo things, Ladd McConkey's probably a first-round draft pick, considering what he's been able to do at the NFL level. Yeah. He was a borderline first-round draft pick as well. Mm-hmm. So,
what does he got to do to get over Iraq?
I believe it's like he's got
like 87 yards a game.
So if Georgia wins the national championship, or at least plays in the national championship, they'll have 3 games. He's got to average, about like 80 yards, 85 yards. So probably not going to happen unless he has a Florida-like performance. But he will break the record in this upcoming game. He's going to have 4 receptions, guys.
And by the way, Terrence Edwards, both on the record and off the record, says that it will count.
Oh, of course it will.
If they play 16 games and he goes over Iraq, he'll hand over the title. And he won't do the, I played 13 games, get your weight up, that kind of thing.
No.
Even though I would. I definitely would. My record's been standing since 2000, 25 years, and a guy breaks it 3 extra games, you're going to hear about it. You're going to hear about it on the timeline.
No, I think Terrence at this point is like, someone needs to break this damn
Terrence
record.
is probably sitting there like, I can't believe I still own it. I'm still the last person to do it. Like, when A.J. Green got on campus, it was probably like, oh, crap, well, that's no longer going to be my title anymore. And then George Pickens comes on, and it's like, well, that's not going to be mine anymore. And then, I mean, Brock Bowers came close to it as well. I mean, there's been so many opportunities, and yet there it is. Terrence Edwards still the latest to do it.
Dude, the chat is going at it tonight.
Dude, I was just laughing at that. The idea that a Big Ten fan is sitting there arguing it out 52 minutes into the local hour here is even crazier.
Honestly,
respect to you, brother.
Those people are my favorite because it's just like they are here to troll.
Well, to be fair, what Big Ten channel is live right now with this type of audience?
None.
I don't
Nobody.
think anybody.
You know, like Klatt doesn't go live, does he? Klatt's
not
all
really.
uploads.
Yeah.
So yeah, what chat are you gonna troll in if you're a Big Ten fan? Pate's not live right now, is he?
I don't know.
So yeah, that's why I appreciate you for being here. You're more than welcome to be here. We love it here.
Troll away, dude.
Troll away.
Enjoy.
What are you most excited about this weekend?
Being so in a new environment. I mean, Kyle Field is one of those bucket list stadiums that you always want to attend to, and we're about to attend it in its biggest atmosphere ever. I mean, it's a playoff game at Kyle Field. I mean, that's pretty freaking awesome. And then also the fact that we're going to go watch a football game that we're credentialed for and that we're going to be working at. But, I mean, we're a non-biased observer, and we're not working for our company at, like, SI for this game. Like, we're just watching ball, man. Watching football.
Yeah, this
is us, too.
Yeah.
We did this.
right.
This is not the mothership. This is not a major corporation calling and saying, we're Sports Illustrated, you better credential these people.
Mm-hmm.
These are three guys who talk college football at a well enough and passionate enough rate where the biggest football game in the history of A&M home field advantages, they're like, yeah, come on, guys. We love the way y'all talk ball. We'll allow you to cover this football game.
Mm-hmm.
Which I venture to say, safe guess, most heavily credential applied football game A&M's ever had.
I would envision so.
Last year's Texas game might have given a run for its money.
For all the local
From a
news.
national standpoint, though, this
From a
definitely
national
is.
standpoint, sure. But I mean, that was a 13-year rivalry that was getting reinvigorated in Kyle Field. First time these two teams met as an SEC program. Arch Manning was there. Like,
You know, I just thought about,
what's that?
guys, 24 months ago, we weren't approved to every Georgia game.
It's true.
Yep.
We've come a long way.
A long way. Really quickly.
Mhm.
I also thought about this the other day. 36 months ago, I quit my job. We're new in this. This isn't some decade-long thing that we've tried. This is something that us three have been doing for 24 months.
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing solely for 36 months.
Right.
And there was I talked about this last night. There was a real, I was almost embarrassed for a long time to even, I didn't even tell people I was working two jobs. I mean, you knew.
You weren't pulling the John Summerall?
No, I wasn't tweeting out here
2 jobs,
With
2
my-
hours of sleep.
with my half a hard hat, half a TV haircut. No, I was not out here doing that. But yeah, until January of 2022, I was a construction worker, guys. This is awesome. We're about to go to College Station.
Dude, yeah, I'm excited.
It's freaking sick, man. And we're going to vlog it?
Apparently.
We don't even know how to do that. but
Never
we're gonna
done it
vlog
before,
I
but
mean, we
I'll
got the
figure it out.
equipment. We might as well,
Figure it out, yeah.
you know?
Since we've got a little bit of time,
Yeah.
and I know the answer to this, it's a dumb question, but if you had to put a scale of 1 to, let's just do 100, 0 to 100, how much should Georgia fans be worried that Kirby Smart's getting connected to the Michigan job?
Are negative numerals a possibility? Oh, those are integers, not numerals. Are negative integers a possibility here?
Sure.
-2.
-2. Because, you know,
Yeah, I ain't going nowhere.
0.
Here's a take for you. I would give you better odds that Kirby Smart were to leave Georgia and be the Bainbridge High School head football coach than to go to Michigan.
ooh, I like
Honestly,
that.
I'd take it.
I would give you better odds.
I'd take those odds, yeah.
Do you think a guy that loves Georgia that much would ever do something like that?
I mean, the idea and the fact that this is even being thrown around that Kirby Smart would leave a program that he has won 2 national titles at, is on the precipice of maybe winning a 3rd national title, would trade all of that, while also being the highest paid coach in college football, by the way, would trade all of that to go to a Michigan program that is in its current state right now.
I also love the
Why?
I also love the classic, like, go make Kirby say no. Brother, you did that the way you've been handling your program the last 3 years. There's nothing appeasing about that. The answer is already no. It's not even, oh, that's a lot of money I have to turn down. Like, I'm gonna have to think about this. Like, no. It's so the message boards are obviously always gonna be fun, but you know.
Kowalski 45, another $100 super chub tonight.
Hell yeah. We'll have a new camera in
Hey,
there.
them $100 super chubs, go ahead, give them 3. For Camera One Fund, what's the boys' favorite bowl game, past or present? Kowalski 45 says. I think this is unanimous. I think there is one college football game and bowl game. Now it's a playoff game now, but there's one bowl game that for me must watch every single year. Sit down, watch every single last second of it, commercials included, and it's the Rose Bowl.
The Rose Bowl is definitely
It's
a top
the Rose
one.
Bowl.
Oh, yeah. My mind immediately went to the Jackson Smith and Jigba Rose Bowl. Holy cow.
Yeah. That was against Penn State?
Yeah, I believe it was.
No. Utah.
Utah, yeah. Oh, my gosh.
I also,
Go ahead.
guilty pleasure here, I love the Pop-Tart Bowl, man.
Pop-Tart Bowl is just
The
so
Pop-Tart
good.
Bowl feels like, okay, this is college football at its most college football-esque, where it's like we've got an edible mascot. There 3 or 4 dudes in suits, stripping off their wrappers and running around. Like,
I'll never forget when we were doing Man on the Street content, Kirby, and you were like, hey, dude, quit asking them football questions because you're a football guy and they're going to try to match your football.
yeah.
I'm on with Gillis, and we're talking about the Pop-Tart Bowl, and all I could think about was, whatever you do, dude, don't try to be funny with the world's funniest comedian on your freaking podcast. But I did make a joke about the Pop-Tart Bowl.
Yeah.
I said, Gillis, I read a news report. There's going to be 6 live Pop-Tarts to eat out there. You excited about that? And he starts chuckling. He's like, man, that's really funny, but I'm hurting right now. And I was like, you know what? Mark it down. That's a tick. That's a successful little off-the-cuff joke. It's a reality. There are going to be 6 live Pop-Tarts.
Dude, that might
What
be.
an environment.
Dude, the trophy's a toaster.
Yeah, it's freaking awesome.
They had the right 2 football coaches for that, by the way. 2 big fellas.
I want to.
2 big fellas that are never going to turn down a Pop-Tart.
I need to get some Pop-Tart Bowl merch.
Dude,
we're,
I had a
we're not going to go to the game, but
I had a brown sugar Pop-Tart the other day. A little butter on it. Stuck in the microwave 15 seconds.
it's been years since I've eaten one.
You ain't living, brother.
Yeah.
I got one upstairs. You can go get one.
I might.
I'm done. Y'all done?
Yep.
Y'all ready for this ride tomorrow?
No, I don't know if I'm ready for the ride, but
You know what I'm
the
ready for?
weekend.
Here's what we got going on. We're going to drive 12 and a half hours to Houston tomorrow, starting at 1 o'clock. Get there about 1 o'clock local time.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to wake up. We're going to drive to a Division I football program. We're going to spend some time with them. And then we're going to go to College Station, okay? And we're going to sleep Friday night. We're going to wake up, and we're going to go to the best first-round football game that there is. And then we're going to get in the car at about 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock local time out
Lord
there in
willing.
Texas. And we're going to drive home. We're going to drive all the way home, 14 hours. We're going to get here about 7 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to drink my 900th milligram of caffeine, and we're going to crank a live show at noon Sunday.
God dang, man.
You guys are going to be nice and cozy and cuddled up. I'm going to be right here going live.
I'll be driving to Canton immediately after.
Red-eyed and bushy-tailed.
I'll spend probably 15 hours in the car from Saturday to Sunday.
Buddy, since the moment we have gotten that approval email, I have been vibrating from the toes to the hair.
Gross.
Just like this, man.
I don't want to think.
God, dude, what?
I don't want to think about that.
Woo! I'll see y'all when I see y'all. Ooh, how you going to sleep tonight?